Our last one, Destruction Complete, most of the criticisms were like, it's just too short. And I was like, well, I can take that.
Yeah, that's good criticism.
But yeah. So, when did the last one come out?
I should know this, shouldn't I? It was
early this year,
I think it was February. Don't know why, but I think it was February.
No, it was kind of around about my birthday, so I think it was around May, June when it came out. I think so.
Where do you normally record?
We record everything. Alex records all the guitars.
No, man, we go to Abbey Road. Tell me the truth.
Oh, yeah, man. No, we record all the guitars and bass and everything at Al's house. Then I record all the vocals at my house.
Right.
And then everything else was sent to an engineer in London this time. We've worked with... the first one we did was just Al and me. And it sounded a bit terrible. It sounded very sterile and very kind of clean. And then with Mountains and Calm the Storm, we went with Chris Coulter, who's done like Arcane Roots and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that's for the mixing and the mastering.
Yeah,
yeah.
But we did the drums with him as well.
Because drums is quite a. Yeah, it's hard to. You can't really do it.
Yeah, we normally ship Jamie off to wherever he needs to go.
Somewhere, a room.
Just go away, Jamie, for a bit and do your recording.
Yeah, but it's drums are like.
That's the one that is the thing that makes your recording so expensive.
It can ruin
drums,
it.
Yeah.
Bad drums can ruin it as well. But you sonically, you guys have always sounded quite professional. I thought, considering how you've done it.
Yeah, I mean, all the guitars were reamped external from where we recorded them, so we just lined in. So that's probably why.
Have you considered going to a proper studio sometimes?
I don't think it would work for us, to be honest. I think we like to work at our own pace, and maybe having someone external.
Interesting.
I think it's good as well because Al is very, very good, and Al could just, and Jamie as well, they could knock out an entire album worth of their takes in a day. Like the rest of us aren't up to that standard.
Yeah.
Like it takes me a month to do the album's vocals. I'll record stuff like a line at a time.
Do you do the lyrics as well?
Yeah.
The lyrics? Yeah.
But I am a very, very inconsistent vocalist, and a lot of the time it just.
I've seen your stuff on Facebook. You're very self-deprecating.
No,
really?
I think it's just. I think it's just very realistic.
But no, it's not, because then then you'll like before it you'll say all that stuff, then it'll come out and I'll listen to it and I'll go, what was you talking about?
Because you get it to that point where you're like, oh yeah, this is all right, but it takes a lot of getting there. Like.
Yeah, it does. I suppose
you'll know as a vocalist yourself.
I rewrite lyrics 4 or 5 times before I'm happy with it.
I don't really care about the lyrics. It's more the performance.
Oh, I do. I do. Like, because I think, what is this band trying to say? What is their point?
Yeah.
And if it's on you, then
I've never been hugely attracted to lyricists as such. Like my favourite lyricists are people like Michael Stipe and Cedric from the Mars Volta, where it's just nonsensical gibberish. I really like that because then you can interpret it.
Or like
anywhere.
Anthony Kiedis.
Yeah.
I always thought there was underlying themes with your songs.
There has been the last couple of.
It's some cracking lyrics, I think.
Yeah, but
sometimes where it's like. Quite ambiguous, or
that's why I like to do it, because sometimes I don't know what I'm going on about. So.
Well, good lyrics can mean different things to different people.
Yeah.
I quite like that. If someone tells you that to them they think it's about this, and you wouldn't even thought of that when you wrote it.
If anyone listened to it enough to make that comment, I'd be very happy. To be honest with you, but yeah, I'm more about.
I recommend anyone now go and check out Sun Explodes on Spotify or YouTube or whatever, because he's got some good videos as well.
Please do. Yeah. The last couple we did ourselves, which was kind
impressive,
of fun. Which is why there's no group shots in any of them. Somebody was always holding the camera.
So you sound like a very disparate band in terms of how you write and record, but it all then somehow comes together to not sound like that.
It's funny because, like, external to the band, I wouldn't say any of us really see each other. No, we don't really like.
Maybe that's for the best for the band.
Yeah, well, I think so. I think that sometimes.
I think it would be nice when we first started. We'd hang out quite a lot, but that was before you joined, and when we still had Nick.
Then I joined, and then they stopped.
All the fun stopped.
Yeah. They used to do a weekly curry club. That
we did.
Stopped as soon as I.
Yeah, we
joined.
did. But it's an odd one.
I think we're all kind of loners, actually. I think we all quite like our own space and our own lives external to.
I can imagine if you guys made it big, you'd all have your own separate buses and
planes
and
definitely. I would love
the only
that.
time you'd see each other's on stage, off in your separate ways.
Very much a business relation.
Yeah. But if it worked.
Me and you always end up pairing off a little bit.
We do.
You've got to think long term though, because if that's how it had to be, to not spend that much time together to make the band work, then that's just what you do.
We've never had any issues on tour or anything though. When we stuck together for we all get on and everything.
Yeah, I think we're aware as well if someone's feeling a bit grouchy. Obviously, you give them space.
That's always me. I always get a problem.
It's all about the banter, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as that's there.
Man,
right.
all we do is fart on tour.
Yeah, same.
Dave's gonna hate me bring this up. He had a little rant on Facebook last night.
Because all you do is talk about pooing.
That's what we do on tour. We poo and we fart. We fill up toilets and we leave.
Oh, I don't do those things. You tiring me with your
It's like
pooey
you go in and you're just trying to like pass time on tour. So you go in, you take a shit, and then you take a picture and you like send it to everyone.
I've never done that before.
I know you haven't. But like,
Why would you do that? That's horrible.
You know Al did it. Like
so
in
common.
Camden.
So common. So common.
Dave doesn't like me sounding common.
So how does it start when you like start writing new songs?
Alex writes something.
Not me, the other one.
Yeah,
The
Al. From
Al.
Yeah, from here on in, him here that's with us.
Mm.
You are now Alex, and Al, the other one who isn't here, is Al.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what we'll do. Al writes something with
Like riffs and
drums.
stuff?
Yeah, he'll write the whole thing. He'll write like a whole
Wow.
song. He'll write a whole song with drums that he programs, and he sends it to me. I'll put. I just record me shouting a lot of stuff over it. It'll
Like
just
vocal melodies and stuff.
Yeah. I'll
do.
shout just like gibberish words and
Yeah,
stuff.
I do that as well.
Yeah, and then but what I always concentrate really hard on backing vocals.
Oh yeah,
Because
you're very layered. Your
Yeah.
lot of your vocals.
But
Who
I'll-
does the? I was listening before. Who does it? You who does all the as well?
No.
I was gonna say.
No, that
I was gonna say. It doesn't sound like you. I was
That
like,
was me. That was
Right.
me on
on
Big
on,
work.
on the shouty vocals on the new album are all me, but that's why they sound a little bit kind of because it's
because
me.
Tek loves those screaming, shouty vocals. I'm
I was
not so much of a
I was
fan.
always into like death metal and.
But I think it
thrash and
works.
Stuff like that. Yeah,
like
it
for
was
your
just-
stuff,
yeah.
I think it works.
It was a strange thing when it came in because before they had a member who I suppose what did he sound like? He just shouted really, wasn't it? It was like
Nick is very
It was
shouty.
backing vocals.
Yeah,
you mean?
Nick.
Yeah.
Nick used to do all the like shouting stuff, but he would
Okay.
literally shout like at the top of his voice and shred.
it was quite
him.
punky.
It was
really.
cool,
quite-
but it
yeah.
was cool for recording. But when we played live, he would like shred himself. You could see his face going red.
Okay, right.
But you kind of go Cookie Monster.
I
so
go
very
Cookie
low.
Monster, but I can handle it, and it doesn't break. Yeah, that's it.
That's
and
it,
It
yeah.
doesn't break down on tour though, and
I
it's
can't
like
do any of that. It just destroys my throat. We tried to cover. We were practicing bodies.
all right, yeah.
It's just, I'd have to sing it. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
couldn't. I just couldn't.
Yeah, I envy people that can do it because I try and I just
I
can't.
like Corey Taylor. He does
yeah,
both
yeah, it's crazy.
brilliantly.
Like talent.
I think
Yeah.
he spent a lot of time blowing his voice out though.
I think he
His
did.
screaming has changed. I remember on their sort of like their third album tour cycle for is it Subliminal Verses the third tour. His scream was weird. It was just like
Yeah.
like just like this really high pitched scream. But I think he blew it out obviously on the first tour cycle, but he has got it under control now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the damage shouldn't get worse.
But he must have had to like go and get some training.
Oh,
And,
I assume so. I
Yeah.
assume so. There's what's that woman called? Melissa Cross, who does the Zen
Yeah,
of Screaming.
yeah, she's very good.
If you want a DVD, check out the Zen of Screaming.
okay.
Yeah, it's like kind of the
Didn't even know that.
It's the standard.
What's that called?
The Zen of Screaming by
Yes.
Melissa Cross.
Got it.
She's pretty much coached every kind of big shouty metal singer you've ever heard. Everybody knows her. She's like such a lovely like little old lady.
Yeah,
But she's
she just trains people
yeah.
in aggressive vocals.
like
Oh, right.
she's amazing. Like
Oh yeah, I think I've heard. Yeah, that rings a bell.
think there was-
there's a few people who've gone to her, haven't
Yeah,
they?
Yeah, a lot of people who had like vocal issues over a period of time as well. Like I keep blowing my voice out, I can't make it go for a full tour cycle, and
Yeah.
she just does a lot of vocal exercises that help you and shows you sort of like the proper technique, as it were. So it's an absolute must for anyone who wants to scream.
Ah, cool. Has the sound's gone in mine? Is it gone in anyone else's?
No, I'm
no,
good,
I
I'm
can
good.
hear you.
It's gone
Oh no.
Shit.
completely.
But why?
I don't know.
Well,
It's back now.
Hey.
I just pressed it, like, barely
Tiny.
touched
The
it.
Shit,
joys
yeah.
of technology,
It's back
everyone.
now.
Is it? Right, well, don't breathe.
I breathed. Sorry. Where were we? Oh yeah, so you're playing guitar. So is that something you're gonna keep doing or not?
No.
We're not having 3 guitars.
I've got all these beautiful guitars I bought, and now Alex has them all because he
Oh yeah, I
has
saw
no
the picture.
idea.
I saw the picture. that you
I've got
put.
that beautiful green 7-string, and then
which
I've got
which
this.
I've claimed.
I've got the same guitar in a 6,
Which I've claimed.
which is playing. So I've got
So
these
would you
three.
not like to at least the odd song be able to just play guitar?
We realised it was just a bit too much having 3 guitarists.
It would remove Dave from his dancing, and we can't have that.
Sexy naked dancing.
We love it.
No, I don't really do any of that palaver anymore. But yeah, I think it's just more crap and more logistics to have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were when we had the Kempers because we use Kemper.
Yeah.
Amps, and we had 2 of them. We could probably run me and you through the same one, but now we only have 1 Kemper. We can't really do that anymore, so it would just be a
Okay.
pain.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I was meant to buy. Like when I picked up my Kemper, I think they were like £1,000, whereas now at retail they're like in some places 1,700. just since people started using them. Obviously, Muse using them
Yeah.
now. I'm sure Trivium are using them. Machine Head, just everyone got endorsements and everyone knows about them now. So
Yeah.
I think we picked up the Kempers when they were still below Axe Effects.
Yeah.
And other things.
But as the 5-piece now, I think that's the best. It works.
Yeah.
The
I'll
sound.
probably have to invest again, to be honest. I've been thinking about it, and I don't think there's going to be a way.
Or you could just get an actual amp.
The hassle. They're very inconsistent, and they need maintenance and looked after. And
Mark, we have this rack of gear, and it's awful.
the
It's full of
I'll
crap.
tell you the reason why I love
And
it.
you know what? The muscle men in our band.
Muscle Man.
I know I'm such a 90s supermodel. The muscle men in our band are like, oh, it's so heavy. So it always ends up being like me and Jamie moving up and downstairs because you guys are all complaining about your muscles.
my back is killing me.
My muscles are too small to get round that corner.
Oh, I'm too jacked.
Seriously.
jacked.
Or they always go to the gym before they do stuff,
Oh,
so they
so
can't go to the gym. Can't do anything.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But the reason why I like it actually is just because we sequenced everything through a laptop for a
So
long time.
lazy.
And my effects changes were with the song in the backing
Like-
track. I didn't have
okay.
to press anything,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
to tune at the end of a
Like,
song. And
That's,
I mean,
that's
it
luxury.
was
that.
amazing.
I mean-
Honestly, it was amazing.
Mark is kind of cool metal guy, so like I should imagine like you are maybe I could be wrong, maybe dubious about all of this digital stuff because I'm kind of in that boat. For a long time, I was dubious about all this digital stuff. I always preferred the real tune.
Oh, I did as well. Don't get me wrong.
I wouldn't say I was dubious of
I
it,
don't
but
know.
I just don't use it.
Yeah,
I just have a guitar because I play rhythm,
Yeah.
so I have a tone,
Yeah.
a rhythm and a clean. That's
Yeah.
it. That's all I need. Whereas for some people, like especially
Yeah.
lead players, and if it's just rhythm, it can add a lot of layers
the
to
thing
the
is,
stuff
like
as well.
literally, our computer changes our patches for us,
Yeah,
and it does like other cool stuff for us, and it gets to a point where it's like, oh man, like
yeah, but that's part for
we are-
you. That's
we-
part of your show, though.
we are
That's-
being
we always
Part of your
practice. We always practice as a band in case that goes wrong. Though we do practice.
Yeah, I
if
was
the
gonna say
computer dies.
yeah.
This-
We've seen bands who like if their computers fail, that's it. They're knackered really.
Yeah,
But we always make a point of practicing.
yeah. You should know what your raw
Yeah,
sound
in case
is.
everything goes wrong, we know what we're doing.
Like what happens if there's no monitors at all for anybody? Because
we are used to that. Like
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
stage we got ourselves. Because like when Club Rock used to round, they didn't have any.
Yeah,
The first time we
yeah.
played, no monitors and stuff, and then me and Kev know roughly get the same settings, and then the guy said that's the best I've heard guitar in here
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
years without any like monitors.
I think
Yeah.
I might have been the promoter who put you on first in Carlisle.
Maybe.
I was running Rock Out Promotions at the time. And
Our first gig was at the Brickyard.
was it
for Raz.
It was. I'm sure it was an early one because it was the one
But
with
it
the
wa-
original lineup.
Of Dynamo.
Yeah.
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 That was we did do Club Rock as well in that first year, so we probably did.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that actually. You were supporting somebody, but I can't remember who it was.
I should know. I can't remember.
That was a long time ago. Thinking about it.
2012.
Yeah,
That would have been.
Yeah, it's
How
crazy.
time flies.
I
it
know,
really
right?
does,
I know.
man. It's terrifying.
But yeah, I can't remember who it was. But Club Rock was always a bit iffy sound
It was
wise.
hit and miss. I mean,
I've not been to Embers yet.
I haven't. Not been in
Have you
the
been?
door.
I have. It's really good.
I've heard everyone say it's really good. The
This-
sounds much
where-
better.
where
They've
the-
opened it up. It's brighter.
I've seen
it's-
photos of where the stage is now, and it's much better than that big pillar being in the way.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does make sense. I can't
It's what it
lie.
needed.
Yeah, they've done.
Definitely.
I mean, it's limited to what they can do with the pillar because obviously the pillar's structural.
Yeah.
it has to stay in place.
But
But
it's kind of shifted everything a bit that way.
Yeah,
I'm
so,
hearing.
I mean,
So
at
it's
least-
not as
at least-
prominent.
yeah, at least you kind of have a full band like facing you.
I've
instead
seen
of,
some
like,
hilarious setups in there.
Oh, it's great!
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so
I've seen
good.
someone where, I think it was the guitar player, the bass player, who did a lot of singing, just set up behind, just thought, fuck it, I'm just going to play behind it, I don't care.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah.
occasionally be like that.
Yeah.
But
I think there's gigs like that though, where you might turn up and it's like, oh man, this place is a pure shed.
yeah.
Let's just-
Sometimes they turn out to be awesome gigs though. Like the ones
Yeah.
where people have got to go past your guitar, your headstock to get to the toilet
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like that.
yeah, but no, Embers is a far step up
Yeah,
compared to what
definitely,
Club
yeah.
Rock was. They've
I
really
think
invested the
it's
time.
useful
and
for
effort.
Carlisle, like because
Yeah.
not everybody can start straight to the Brickyard.
No.
They need alternatives to go work your way up.
Yeah.
There aren't many, are there?
No,
No.
if any, really. I mean, where can you play?
There's a few West Cumbria way, smaller ones, but it's, Cumbria's so spread
Is
out.
the lounge still open in Launch 41.
Mm.
Yeah.
Launch
Thanks
41
for
is
the
a
save.
working team.
I think
That's okay.
Yeah, I think.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I think
Saves.
so.
I know some things.
He makes notes and he saves them.
I think we only played in Working once, and was that at Circuit
No,
Bar?
we've played a couple of times in Working.
Oh, well, I've only played one time in Working.
Oh,
Okay.
Circuit Bar.
we played
Oh, yeah,
Circuit.
I've played a few times.
Which is dead and buried, I believe.
Yeah.
In fact, where were we
Circuit
at?
Bar.
3 Tons in Whitehaven. Last
I've
time
never
we played
been.
there, someone got stabbed.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Wow.
It was just
that
after the
music
show.
related, or just
No, it was they knew
drunken
someone who knew
argument?
each other, some drunken
Well.
thing. We were just packing up, and we just heard this woman screaming, and it was just chaos. It was just like
The Wild Wild West.
Small towns, man. Everyone's fucking everyone.
it was like whoa. Never seen anything like that before at a gig. You just don't expect it.
The first gig we ever played out of town was in South Shields, and halfway through our
It's
set,
my neck of the woods.
halfway through the set there was a drugs raid.
Wow.
Police everywhere.
People are like, is this part of the show? Or this is impressive if it is.
That
This
was
shit looks real.
that was the first thing that happened. We got there and we were like, oh, this is nice. And then we got there and there was a punter outside, and she was like, what sort of music do you play? And we were like, kind of like rock and
House,
metal.
garage.
And she was like, so you like Satanists? And we're like, no.
Yes, we're saying this.
No. Yeah, no.
Yeah, because if you use the word heavy metal, say
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was careful. We were careful to say like rock, and she was
Yeah.
like, Satanists. It was like no.
Diplomatic.
Yeah.
At the
Well-
best
well
of times,
played.
we never really know what to say. We are. It's like we really have no idea.
Nah.
So it started in 2008, did you say, the band?
We were kind of getting ready. 2008. It really started in 2009.
Or what year did you join? You remember?
2012.
I think it was the end of 2011, 2012.
I think it was 2012 because
Yeah.
Mountains came out in 2013.
Did you all know each other before
Yeah.
I was their biggest fan.
that? I was their bitch.
I really was. I hung out their arses.
Oh, babe.
I did.
You
know,
and now you're on the other side of the
"Oh,
fence.
if there ever becomes an availability, please think of me, please.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, if you don't say
yeah.
these things,
Yeah. You were the logical choice.
Yeah, I hammered Emergence.
Yeah.
I loved Emergence.
that's how Martin got the gig spacing out. He sent me a message probably a year before saying that he loved us, and if
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
happened in
Yeah.
the bass situation, just give me a call. And that,
It's
it
one.
did.
It's one of the way forwards, really. I mean,
The thing is, like, this is going to sound really shady, and I'm not trying to be shady. Well, I am a little bit, but no. But when you joined, because you like, to be fair, like the stuff Al writes is really, really hard, but the fact that the enthusiasm for it was there, maybe more so than, because I think Nick kind of teetered off a bit because it started to get a bit tech metally, and Nick, when we started, we were a bit more metalcore. So
I was going to ask that
yeah,
about genres because you've evolved.
we
I
started,
suppose.
we started quite metalcore with synths, and then we kind of started to get a bit techier, and then you've always been like quite into your tech and stuff.
I'm into my tech, but
and
I'm not a good enough player.
No,
to do
but
crazy
this
tech.
is the thing that I'm talking about. When you started, it was like a slow start, but you worked really, really hard to get up to scratch really quickly because you really liked the stuff, and that was much
Yeah.
more important than
Yeah.
his ability to start with. Because
Yeah.
we knew he'd get there, and he has got there, and he's absolutely brilliant now. Even though he says he's not, he's really, really great guitarist.
It's a bit like you then, eh?
Wow. But yeah, you are very, very good now.
I'm passionate about the music. I wouldn't say I'm the best, but
No, but like
have to be, don't you?
You've got very, very good.
the thing is, that, like, I don't like bands that are perfect live. So
Yeah.
I know that.
No one's perfect live.
No, but
I mean, you try to
I
be.
like bands that are just like they love it. Like they go out there and they look
You
like
can
they
see
love
it.
it. So
Yeah, 'cause if you're
early
actually
System
having
of a Down
fun-
is a great example.
Yeah.
Early System
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Down, they could sometimes barely play because they were either that stoned, drugged up, or drunk. But they were amazing because they
Yeah.
loved what they were doing.
It's a
so-
fine line, though, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
I've
It
seen,
is. Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen some
You have to be
terrible shows.
coherent,
'cause-
like,
It's kind of a problem for us as well because we are kind of tech metal now, even though we're really, really
that is
not.
That is what I would have said.
The thing is, when you put us alongside proper tech metal bands, we're
So
really,
what are you then?
really not. This is it. I'd like to say
don't know.
I'd like to say progressive rock or progressive metal, but I don't even think we're that metally.
I don't think we're that progressive, really.
No,
either.
I don't think so. We've always kind of gone for the whole kind of short, sharp pop song. We like
Yeah.
verses, choruses.
But
and
what defines tech metal, though?
how technical it is, and we're really not that technical. When
Mm,
when
I
we actually like honestly, like when we break it down in the practice room, it's really nothing that technical.
But it's
A
more
few-
about when you put it all
yeah.
together, though, isn't it?
It's just a couple of weird time signatures, and Al does some tapping, and that's pretty
For
much
me,
it.
that's why
Yeah.
that's why I always thought tech metal
Yeah.
was about odd time signatures and lots of stop
I think it's
starts
like a
and-
proficiency in playing it live as well, whereas
And in the
Wow.
and in the
we might not be as tight as some, to be fair.
in the
but-
like in the big hitting tech bands, every member is like a prodigy in their band. Like they're all
Yeah.
like they could all just like go off and be session
I always thought
musicians.
there's a bit of
forever.
unpredictability about tech metal.
That's what that's the,
Unconventional.
That's
kind
what
of-
we sound like. Like I always think we're like about ready to come off the rails at any moment.
yeah.
We always look like we're heading for a car crash, but we're just dodging out the way. you know,
That was so bad.
You know what I mean, though.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah. It's like when we get at the end of a song, we look at each other like,
Oh my god, we actually got through it.
"Did we just do that?"
Yeah, I know that look.
But yeah, it's an odd one. I'd quite like to talk about that because when we started, we came out of two bands. My band was called the Suzy G, which no one could spell.
Scissor
And the
G.
Suzy G. It was spelled
As in
SYZYGY. It was like so many of my band names and songs was named
Made
off an
up.
X-Files episode. But yeah, it was an X-Files episode. But and it was kind of basically like a Muse worship band. And then it was so bad.
It really
And
was a Muse
It was
worship.
really was a Muse worship band. And then Al and Jamie's band, Captain Ansley, who were like a proper metalcore band, and
Right.
they were pirate core. Every single song was about pirates.
Core.
Pirate core. Every single song was about pirates.
This was before like pirate metal was even like
Yeah.
a thing.
So the both of those bands broke up, and me and Al had played bass in my band a couple of times.
Right.
And we were like, let's start a band. So we started a band, and we didn't, because Al kind of was in like metalcore. We started as like a metalcore band, and then I
Right.
had a keyboard, like a really old, like
Oh,
70s
that I would
Moog.
like to have seen.
70s Moog keyboard, and like I was trying to make it like ELP or something, and then
It sounded more like Enter Shikari.
yeah, not when I first had my Moog, because it was a original 70s Moog,
Oh, cool.
so it was all kind of Doctor Who. So we started this like weird thing, and then we did the EP, and you can hear on the EP that we don't have a clue what's happening, because like I'm trying to be like still trying to be Matt Bellamy. And I've got keyboards, and Al's doing breakdowns, and then we bought a microcorg and started programming in like kind of like party synths and stuff.
Yeah.
And we just didn't know what we wanted to do. And from there, we started playing bills with lots of hardcore bands. And like, I'm not even dissing hardcore bands, because like I love a good hardcore gig. But a lot of those bands, it's the alpha male, hyper masculine bullshit. So anything that wasn't like just like, oh man, torch brutes, not one. Like they were just, you know.
I loved playing shows with them though, because we just like were ultra feminine. Like
Yeah,
me
we
like
did.
shaking my ass at them.
Yeah, and they didn't like it, and it was great. But we'd play with them, and then at some point, thanks to you, really, and Paolo and Will,
Yeah, they were-
we got kind of put in this tech metal box, which at first we were like really dubious and scared of, because I was convinced it was going to be full of people that were like really up themselves.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be just really open-minded, and they don't care if you're playing like really basic metal or if you're playing like crazy mental avant-garde jazz. There's a place for everything, and that we ended up kind of there. And like, I don't know how we got from there to there, but now we've got like kind of a nice little fan base that kind of are up for anything new that you're doing. They
Yeah.
might not necessarily like it, but they're not going to like call you names because they don't like
No,
it.
Yeah.
They're enthusiastic as well, and if they give feedback, it's constructed feedback. It's not just
Yeah,
like, you
yeah.
are shit. It's like,
You are not brutal, I know.
But you don't worry too much about what genre you're in. Just do what comes naturally.
I
and
don't
other people try and tell you what you are, but just doesn't really matter, does it?
No, well, from when I was a fan, like I couldn't pinpoint them, and since
That's a good thing, though. I think.
Yeah, no, it was interesting listening, and it was like, oh well, this sounds a bit like this and that. And
Yeah.
it's
You can
it
have a
doesn't at the same
multitude of
time,
things
so-
in it, but
I
nothing specific, nothing in particular.
I think you
Yeah.
can run away with yourself, though, because I don't think anything we're doing is particularly super out there. I think sometimes we convince ourselves it is.
No, I don't.
Yeah, but you're also not doing something too specific.
Yeah,
though,
yeah, yeah.
So you kind of it's
Like,
a good, it's
yeah,
a good
I like to
balance.
just mix
I think this
and
is what I
match.
think this is one of the reasons why Al's always been very what's the word, enthusiastic for me to potentially write riffs.
Yeah.
But coming from a fan of the band, I don't really want to take away what TSE sounds like. So
Yeah.
I've always just let Al.
But you could
run
be
with it.
contributing to the evolution of it, though.
I don't think I could. Al seems to write already like with an evolution in mind, or he has an idea in his head about where he wants to go.
Like Al
He's
doesn't.
very prolific.
He is so quiet. He doesn't rate himself at all, and he's mind-blowingly good at guitar, and he'll just come up with like.
He is.
He's a very good
Yes,
songwriter,
yes.
actually. He can write a
Yeah,
very good
he's-
song.
So he is
Great
the
songwriter.
main songwriter.
Oh
of the
goodness,
band.
yeah. Yeah.
Apart from lyrics and vocals.
Lyrics and vocals and anything keyboardy.
A bit of synth.
I'm pretty good at like rearranging it. So like I'll be like, right, this needs to be twice as long. This needs to be cut out. Yeah. We need a bit here. Here's an idea.
But most of it comes from him.
I wouldn't take any of the credit for it because like I wouldn't know. I don't know how he thinks it up.
You must come up with some bits and bobs, though, do you?
Nothing.
Nope.
Wow.
Nothing at all. No, I let them do their thing and I get given tabs. And
He's very...
The way he said that was amazing. I let them...
No, I mean, I wouldn't want to intrude. They have a very good working relationship and I give feedback. I'll go, I like this, I like that and stuff like that.
This is proper like therapy because he's talking like separate, like you're not part of it. How weird is that?
Maybe sometimes he feels like he isn't.
Oh, babe.
Existential.
I'll always be a fan over a member, I think.
Wow.
Well, now I feel really bad.
No, it's a good thing for me because I get like backstage like knowledge.
Oh my
and,
God.
like I get to fanboy all the time. I'm touring one of my favorite bands.
Oh, there you go.
Well, that's uncomfortable. Thanks, man.
It's all right, buddy.
You're just a stalker, and we haven't realised it yet.
I was for a long time.
Oh.
Notice me, senpai. Did I pronounce that right? I don't know.
You did. Well.
Mint.
How do you go about your lyrics then? Where do you start?
I normally just shout gibberish, keep some of it, and then just write stuff that sounds good. However, the last one, we really thought about it. I wrote an entire 5-chapter storybook.
Do you ever write lyrics before the music? Like
Sometimes I've got on my phone. I've got loads of just like sentences I like.
Yeah, I am the same.
I think you've reused.
Or
lyrics as well.
I'll find a word that I really like and I want to.
Well,
put in
yeah,
somewhere.
I have possible song titles or album titles or just sentences that someone might have said. That sounds quite
Do
cool.
you find the lyrics write themselves if you think of a really good title?
Well, I always, not necessarily, but I always start with a title.
Yeah.
I have to give a song a title first,
yeah.
Otherwise I just get lost. I don't know what. It gives it a theme or a sort
Yeah.
of thread. Otherwise I'm just like,
I've-
go on
I
forever.
don't know.
I've never ever used to start with the title, and then I started with the storm. I started doing the title, and it made it so
Because
much easier.
usually it's to music.
Yeah.
So through my long list of stuff that I've written down, I'll go, that would work with
Yeah.
this. That kind of sounds like it works with this kind of music, that title. So I'll give it that title.
Yeah.
Then I'm off.
The
But
only
sometimes I'll rewrite it 4 times, 5 times. I'll write lyrics, then I'll leave it for a while, go on to something else, and I'll come back and go, that's shit. Apart from that one word, I'll keep that, and then I'll do it. Sometimes I'll do that 5 times before it ends up how it finishes.
Yeah, the exception was on the new album. There's a song called Negative Rainbow, and that was the first time I've ever wrote lyrics before music. So the chorus harmony bit, I just wanted to do a 4-part harmony because I've never done it before on a song as a lead. So I wrote that bit and then had to figure out what all the chords were. So,
Right, yeah.
So that's the only time I've done it, and it was really hard, and I don't ever want to do it again.
Yeah. Our last one, that was the only one where I started getting to harmonies. Like the producer was like, "This needs some harmonies. It can't just be this." And I was like, well, I don't know where to start. But the other lads had some ideas as well, so it kind of helped.
I think harmonies can lift it.
Yeah, it can make it sound. Well, I didn't see it at the time. I was, does it really? And then when we did it, I was like, after they mixed it, even just the rough, he was like, come and have a listen to this.
Did it make you smile?
Like,
did it make you go, oh, wow?
I was like, unbelievable. Couldn't believe it. I was like, it's exactly what. From then on, I was completely open to all. I was like, whatever you think.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think you and Al have always done harmonies, haven't you?
We sometimes.
I think
we sometimes
we
go
had your back catalogue on random then, even from the early stuff, and it's like there's always been some kind of thing like that.
Not so much on the first album.
Well, not the first one, but at some point it seeped in and it's kind of grown from there.
That was the thing, because we always said we weren't going to bout critiques and reviews and stuff, but on the first album we kind of didn't use harmonies and stuff, and like every review was like, it's all right, but it sounds really empty. The vocal sounds really lonely.
Well, if quite a few people are saying the same thing, then you kind of got to listen, I suppose.
But we were like, let's try and do some harmonies, and then we kind of just got a bit carried away.
Yeah, went a bit mad on the Calm the Storm.
On the Calm the Storm, on I Walk Alone, there's a point where there's like 120 voices in the background.
Do you know what's funny though? That song
we literally recorded that like 30 times.
That song
and then
actually
doubled
works though when you listen to it, but live it was a shit show.
Oh, dude.
Right.
It was like about 2 minutes of the song is just the same thing repeated, and I remember just playing it like, I'm even bored of playing this. And everyone's there just like, when's it gonna end?
So the recordings, are you actually on the recordings, or is it all Al?
Yeah, I did the recordings on the Calm the Storm. No, did I do the Calm?
You did everything apart from the last one.
Is he more lead in your rhythm, or is it a bit of both?
I think what happens is I'll record, and then if it's bad, he'll do it without me knowing. I've got an inkling that might happen.
But in terms of your actual roles in the band, is he more lead and you're more rhythm?
Yeah, definitely.
Right,
definitely.
Okay. So
yeah.
he does mainly the solos and stuff.
Even down to like guitar tones. My guitar tone's always been more to like beef up the bass.
Okay.
So mine will always be kind of like just maybe a little bit more clarity above the bass,
Right.
and his will be sort of like punching over the top of it.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Because some of his solos are really good as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's quite imaginative. So the thing as well though is he'll dish out like a lot of the rhythmic parts are like tapped parts. So like you'll be there like doing hammer-ons and pull-offs and stuff. So it'll like double up, and it's really cool. So you still have to do your fair little bit, and like you're the clean chord guy as well. Clean chord guy.
So have you found your guitar playing's got a lot better because of him? Because you're playing like his stuff.
You know what? It was really hard for me when I first started because I was so used to playing metal. You know, like just like really fast alternate picking.
Yeah.
And I came in and it's just like all these weird like extended chords. It's got a thing for extended chords.
What about the time signatures as well?
The time signatures were okay. I always listened to like Meshuggah and stuff like that. So I kind of like had a good sort of rhythmic.
Yeah.
And I loved Tek music before, like
Yeah.
gent music. So
Yeah.
And then what happened when you had to do down picking constantly?
Yeah, that's.
I ain't no James Hetfield, man.
Well,
like,
that's when Kev. I've like learned a lot from Kev because he's. I don't know if you know, seen him play, but he's phenomenal.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
rhythm and lead, but like it's just some of the stuff he was coming up with, and then when he played some of our older stuff, he goes, "But you should play it this way." And I was like, just trying to like some of the like the down picking, alternate picking.
It's crazy stuff.
I mean,
like
harmonies
actually,
and
what I
stuff,
found
just
is with a lot of the stuff off the last album, there's some intense like down picking on it. But I've then went further back and I've actually just started like jamming Metallica again. Just 'cause if anything, it's
just get your
good for
chops up.
it's good for exercises.
Like some of the songs like "Seek and Destroy"
Yeah.
in the main solo bit. It's just like for like 8
But
bars.
even
crazy.
just, just like the Master of Puppets, if you know,
Yeah, all your finger dexterity and everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because Kev does all this stuff where he's like stretching 5 frets. How do you even do that?
There's a couple chords like that. Like there was one that was on the Calm the Storm, and honestly, when Al showed me, I nearly had a heart attack. I was like, how am I going to be able to do that? I mean, I've got quite long fingers, but geez, it was insane.
I think it goes back to the age-old adage of you should always be playing in bands with people that are better than you.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely true.
See, I didn't really realise that until
Yeah.
Kev joined the band.
It doesn't have
I was
push
like,
you like.
Yeah.
you're like,
It's a bit like playing with bands who are better than you.
yeah.
Like I remember, I've said this many times on the show, but the first time we went out of Cumbria was to, I can't remember where we were, but it was with Massive Wagons, and I didn't really know much about them.
No.
Yeah.
And obviously we did our thing, and then they came on, and we were just like,
Massive Wagons are amazing.
holy shit! Not just like the playing,
Yeah,
but the whole thing.
spectacle. Yeah.
This was 2012, so they'd not been they'd been gone a few years, but they still weren't very far up the ladder. But everything about them was just like so much on a higher level than we were.
I'm really happy for them because they're doing so
They
well.
are, aren't they?
I was like,
It's impressive.
I was kind of gagged a little bit. I was like, oh my god, look at all this stuff that's happening. But I'm really pleased for them.
Well,
Did they get
any
picked up by a
band-
label recently?
Yeah, Ear.
That's quite big.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
They've done really well.
But I like any band out of our whole group that just like gets picked out and does something cool. It's like yes.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's
get in
really,
there.
I mean, Triverse have just been picked up for a
Yeah,
record
that
label
as well.
which is no one's ever wanted us. So there's a little bit of jealousy.
We've
but no,
actually,
it's great.
We have
It's great.
actually had like offers like prior to you.
Yeah,
But, but we're talking like hack labels.
It depends though, because like a record label is not always the answer for
Nah.
everybody. It doesn't. It depends
I think
who they are.
For us, it's always been like this little a little notch of I've always wanted to take off. I've always wanted to be part of a record label. I don't know about you.
Yeah, but these days, all you need is a really good booking agent
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
who knows what they're doing, who's got good connections.
Because even if you get a label behind you, it is and who are putting money into you, it is just a bank loan.
You still
to
want
be
to
honest,
it
you
is.
very
Still
rarely
wanted
get a record label
Yeah.
who's going to put any money into
Exactly.
it until you.
That's true. I always wanted to. I think it's just me fanboying again. I always wanted to potentially like be part of Basic Records.
The best deals that you get at this level are usually like we won't ask for money for 6 months.
Yeah.
Hey, I would take it.
Do you know what I mean? That's about it.
I
We had
thi- I think-
sometimes when a band.
I think there is a lot of. To be honest, like I would go on a label if they covered PR expenses. That's a very
'Cause
good
that is
reason to go on a
expensive
label.
as
Yeah,
well.
that's
Oh,
it's a
yes.
very good reason to go on a label.
Yeah.
There must be some advantages to going on because I know that obviously Basic and
Distribution's always a plus, but it depends on how well
I still think it's.
connected your
I
label
still
is.
think it's press.
Well,
PR is like a
with
big
digital, a lot of consumption by the fans is digital, so it's not really you don't need a like physical record
Yeah.
distribution deal over the world. But if you can put your own music on iTunes
Yeah.
and Spotify,
thing. Yeah,
that's
It's-
half the battle.
It's just getting your stuff into things for people to see.
Yeah,
And
I think. Yeah, I think your main purpose these days is to get people to persuade enough people to pay to see you play live.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you need music videos. You need to be everywhere that your
it's
music
presence,
can be.
isn't it? Constant presence.
But you have the biggest sign that you're doing something right is if people are paying and your shows are fairly well attended. Even when you go further away from home, if you're still getting a decent crowd, it's like that's it these days.
It's hard in
I forgot
though, especially like.
Do you know what this is?
Oh yeah, he doesn't, but you can guess. Do you want to guess what it is?
It lights up.
Do you know what that is?
Is it a anagram of our band?
Yeah.
Then? Wow. Why are you
Deluxe.
clapping at us?
Because you clever.
I am.
Deluxe Nest Shop.
I like it.
Hold that up to the camera there, so everyone can
Hold
see.
it up to the camera.
Oh right,
Hold
Look
it.
at that one.
Hold it up there. Here we go.
That's an anagram
good,
of the sun explodes.
That is cool. So cool. That's a good
We
anagram.
spent ages going through the. Oh, that'll do.
The Anagram Generator.
There's a lot of weird sexual ones, but they didn't make sense.
Oh.
that was the only-
I would have liked one of them.
like, oh, that's a shame.
Dirty.
Where were we?
Sorry, yeah.
Where were we?
We were
We're
talking
flowing.
about how content is key.
Oh yeah. But I mean, you guys, music's
It's-
everywhere you can get music, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard online though. Like, like
is.
Everyone's got such like this fleeting.
Attention span,
Yeah, it's-
fickle.
it's like-
Well, this is one of the reasons why I started this, because I started this originally for the benefit of the band. But then when the band's kind of taking a break, it's kind of taking a life of its own. But you've got to do something to try and stand out from the crowd,
Yeah,
because
of
there's a
course.
million other
Yeah.
bands like yourself,
Yeah.
whatever you're doing. So, what can you do? It's
Yeah.
like,
And like with YouTube, I'm guilty of it. Just like listening to something, and just like clicking onto the next one,
Yeah.
and then never thinking twice about what
exactly.
I've even
So
listened
we always used to do that 30-second. Well, I don't know. We
Yeah.
used to, all our
Oh,
albums,
yeah.
the 30-second test. Like, he's
I
that
do
one's
that.
that's good. Which sometimes determines which order you put songs. Because
Yeah,
if your
yeah.
albums are the first 3 or 4
Yeah.
songs is key, then it's
Yeah.
quite important. But if you notice, some bands get it wrong live, where they'll come on or they'll finish on a slow song, or they'll start on a slower song, and you'll think, then they'll go to the next song, and it'll be like a million miles an
Yeah,
hour.
yeah.
You go, should have started with
Do you
that.
know this sometimes where it works in the opposite way?
Depends, yeah, doesn't it?
I went to see Muse, and there was always a song on Absolution called "Apocalypse Please."
That's pretty banging a start, though.
Yeah,
It's like,
it was okay. I mean, I was a metalhead at the time, and
Yeah.
I was like, it doesn't. I'd
but
rather,
it starts on like huge chords. It's not like slow.
Yeah, but still, man, I was ignorant. I was like,
Oh.
I just listen to Slayer, man. That's all I care about. But I saw it live,
Yeah.
and it was amazing.
It's funny
I
how
was
things
like,
that you see it live, it can change
Yeah.
your whole.
Oh, it was like. I
Well,
just-
it's like Northland. Northland. Like I'm not really that huge on Northland, and then when they played at Tech Fest, I was like, oh my god, they're
On who?
amazing. They're called Northland,
Australian, I think.
but like the
Are
kind
they
of
tech
like,
metal?
yeah, kind
Yeah,
of.
maybe like poppy gen. Well, I shouldn't say that because since the new singers came in, they're a little bit more accessible, I would say.
Okay.
And like
But-
they played, and like I've never heard a singer be that good ever.
Yeah,
I
they
was
were.
like,
I mean,
crazy.
I can't say I'm a huge Northland fan.
No, I'm not. And then I saw them. And
Yeah,
I was
they were
about to
amazing
say
live.
about
Well,
seeing it
yeah.
live.
If you
Like
see it live,
I'd
it's
heard the
different.
album, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's all right. And then I saw them. I was like, oh my god, you're very, very good.
But to your original point, yes, sometimes they do fuck up with song orders. It's like, what are you doing?
Do you spend a lot of time choosing your
Yes.
track listing
Yeah.
for your
I
albums?
think we're always conscious of flow,
Yeah,
and that flow
it's
is
very
important. I mean, you can let it dip a little bit in the middle. You can
Yeah.
let it slow
Yeah,
down,
yeah,
but then
yeah.
you have to be conscious of bringing it back up to speed, and then
Yeah.
ending on a climax. I mean, we always ended on About, not particularly because it was the best song, but it was a song at the end of it where we felt comfortable just going a little bit mad.
It had party synths.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
has party synths.
Party
at the end.
synth, and we used to jump off things and used to like straddle my face, and
That never happened.
there's video of it.
There is video of it.
Have you any idea how many shows you've done?
Couldn't tell you.
Not as many as you would think.
No, yeah, definitely not as many. I
Are
think
you guys signed up with PRS or Centric Music or anything like that?
yes.
Because that should tell you how many shows you've done.
I am not Al.
All right, so he would know.
Yeah.
So he would know.
Should have brought Al.
We need a supervisor. Get Al.
we decided we'd come because we're the fun ones, and then Al has all
This
the
is
facts.
where he should have like popped his head in and go, we have played X amount of gigs.
Oh yeah.
I think we did in 5 years. I think we did 300.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a lot
Wow.
of gigs.
Yeah. So
That's way more than us.
I
it
think
went like
Yeah.
the last few years went, which is part of the reason why I took a break, to be honest. But
I think we'll be somewhere between 100 and 200,
Yeah.
if I had to estimate, because I have seen the spreadsheet from like the first couple of years, and there was quite a big chunk on there, and we've played a fair bit more.
because I
since then.
don't think a lot of people realise that you can get some money for your shows. If
Yeah.
you sign up with Centric.
Yeah,
if you're already
yeah.
PRS, which is It doesn't.
No, we've
cost much, but
been paid before.
Yeah, they are important things to kind of like.
Yeah, but I've talked to some people who don't even know about it.
No.
I mean, to be fair, Raz was the one that told me about it. And I got it all sorted
We
through
found
that,
out about it. I think the first time we played at Cock Rock, and we were talking to someone there, and
the
they
bigger the
told
venue,
us about it.
Well, the higher the capacity, the bigger
yeah.
the venue, the more you get paid.
Yeah.
Like for a little bit of money for each song that you play. So
Yeah,
if the
that's
longer you're
great.
playing, the bigger the venue. It adds up.
Oh, like the O2 Academy 3 in Manchester. That was a big show, but there was only like 3 people.
I can't even remember that one, man.
You know,
It usually doesn't. It doesn't matter about I don't think it matters how many people show up. It matters about the capacity of the venue.
Ah, right.
Because
Wow.
we played Newcastle O2.
Oh, that band Soldier they played.
Yeah.
We played Newcastle O2, and I can't remember how much it was, but it was the biggest one out of all of them.
That's a big venue.
That
to
is a
play.
Yeah,
venue.
it's about 1,200, I think.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
crazy that.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the biggest show we've ever played? Maybe Tech.
That was
Fest
what I was
outside
going to
of
ask you.
Carlisle?
What is the biggest?
Tech Fest maybe outside of Carlisle for me. Like I would say that.
Yes. Oh, Euroblack. No.
Where is Tech Fest?
Newark Showground?
Is that indoor?
Well, the festival's kind of like an outdoor jobby, but they're in like hangars.
Right, because I saw it. Looks really
It's very
good.
cool. It's
Looks
very
really
cool
good.
The setup's
festival.
great. I like it because it's maybe it's not as intense as other festivals. Like you can
Right.
go and you can use a toilet, you can have a shower if you want to.
Right.
You will have
Yeah.
nice
What sort
food.
of attendance do you think it gets?
I couldn't say off the top of my head.
Like a
Do you
few
reckon
hundred.
Yeah, a few. It's not
Yeah.
huge, but
But
there
it's growing anyway. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
there seems to be an increase.
Like the headliners are always
Yeah.
getting better and better.
Yeah.
They've just done
Um,
an announcement. Actually, they've just done their first announcement
Yeah,
for
in case it's
2018.
Any chance we might see you guys on there?
Hopefully.
We'd love to play it.
We've asked them.
We'd love to
many
Please
play
times
let
have you
us
played
come
it?
back.
it twice.
Yeah. Twice. I've played every year because I've played in other people's bands.
You have.
I think that is the
Yeah.
perfect festival for you guys.
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
just
Yeah.
a good fit.
I mean, we know a lot of the bands in the scene. We know
Yeah.
a lot of. Just
Is it Terraglyph?
Terraglyph,
Jimmy McGregor.
Jimmy
We
McGregor.
camped with them.
Yeah.
Jimmy
Jimmy.
Salson Rune guys as well. They were with us.
We played with them. We've played them a couple of times. But the
How
first
great
time-
a Terraglyph though.
Oh, absolutely awesome.
How much are you just constantly grinning the whole way through the
I
set?
know.
It's
I
absolutely
think it was
incredible.
2013 where we did a Metal to the Masses. Before there was a
Yeah.
Cumbria one, we
Yeah.
did Manchester. And he was on after us or before us, I can't remember. And it's just, that voice just like,
Yeah.
It was funny
speakers
because
were like rattling.
Yeah.
Tech Fest, we were camping with them, and I've never seen a man get so like fucked up like on
Yeah.
Belfast. But he would crawl out his tent every morning, just like lie on the floor, just like baking in the sun. And I was like, dude, you got to be like on like stage in like 2 hours. I'll be fine.
Like
And he nailed it. He
to be
absolutely
fair though,
nailed it.
given them like the shout though, like Terraglyph's like newest album, is it Death of a Prince or is that the single?
I
It's
couldn't say off the top of my head.
It's the best stuff he's done. It's like mental, and he played stuff off that at Tech Fest this year, and it was absolutely mental.
He does work hard, just because it's mainly him, isn't
It's
it?
just him.
They are,
Yeah,
they-
he's
they
got.
work hard.
He's
Does
got.
he- does he
Yeah,
produce?
he is Terraglyph, and then
Does he
the
produce
mu-
though? Does he?
Yeah,
do,
yeah. The
Yeah, I
musicians he
think he
gets
does.
him. He's absolutely.
But he has.
Insane,
Does he? It's not a
insane
different lineup
talented.
all the time, though, is it?
No.
I think it's solidified a bit now.
Uncle Dad plays with him.
Uncle Dad?
Ainsley. He's called Uncle Dad. Ainsley. I don't know if Ainsley was. No, Ainsley was there this year. No, he wasn't.
Ainsley. You don't get many Ainsleys these days.
I think
do
he's
you?
actually called Ansley, but I always call him Ainsley.
No, I think he did play this year.
And Craig used to be his bass
Yeah,
player.
they weren't there from the beginning of the festival, but they did turn up.
Because Jimmy also does band scrims, and he did ours for us, our Son Explodes ones.
Scrims.
You know, like them.
Oh, the
I think,
banner
Sign-
things.
sign
I think he did
bastards.
yours, did you not? Your amp
No, he did.
covers.
Yeah, he did the amp covers.
Yeah,
yeah.
We have ones on stands. He did.
What
them
they
for
called?
us.
We should
Oh,
shout
yeah.
out Bandit Banners. I want.
Bandit Banners, yep.
Banditbanners.co.uk.
I recommend them.
Yeah, they are
We've
very
used
good.
them. They're very
Yeah.
good. Yeah, he's a good guy.
He is a
Jimmy.
great guy.
So he's like a friend in the industry now to you guys, isn't he?
He's
He-
just
he-
a
he put us
friendly
on,
guy.
we
He
met
put
for
us.
promoting.
He put us on in Leeds. He put us on.
Is that
in
where he's
Leeds.
based in Leeds?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
He put us on in Leeds a long time ago now. And
I can't think where last time I saw. Oh, I think it was Wildfire.
yeah,
Oh, were they playing?
2 years ago, I think it was, and he was fucking pajamaed there.
Yeah,
Was he drinking Buckfast?
Something like that. Yeah.
he's
Oh,
obsessed
man.
with Buckfast. But yeah,
With his
Jimmy.
bright red hair.
Yeah. And as you say, he's got such a fierce growl, and then you speak to him, he's like, "I
I know. It's like, are you the same guy?
I'm Jimmy. I want some Buckfast."
But so what? Like that was your biggest gig. What was your favorite? Have you got a favorite gig that you've had that stands out?
My favourite one was the We Build Mountains album launch at the Brickyard.
Not mine. I had the norovirus and it was awful.
I was on. That was good.
He was pooing himself.
I was terrible, honestly. The night before, I
think
got
someone
really
told.
sick.
Oh, that's maybe your brother.
Yeah, I was throwing up. I was passing out. It was on the point. I'd phoned Al in the morning. I was like, dude, I think I'm dying. And he was like, right, we'll pull the show. I'm like, oh, we can't pull the show. Like, I'll play it. It's fine. So I think, like, I got there, like, an hour before doors, and I just sat in the back, like, with a blanket over me, shivering. I think someone helped me apply, like, my makeup, because I did makeup at the time. Like,
oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And I got on, and I think the adrenaline rush really held me through that. But
it always does. It's amazing what adrenaline can get you through.
Oh, yeah. I went home, like, after the show.
No, instantly after, you forget, and instantly after we finished, you went in the back and just vomited everywhere.
I did go out and sell merch for a bit.
You had the norovirus, so then you affected 200 people.
Probably,
as well.
yeah.
Great.
So, yeah, but might as well get out your system, though, folks. But, yeah, I went to bed for, like, 3 days after that. I'm never off work. I always make a point of going to work, and I was off work. I was really fucking sick.
We always used to get flu or really ill after a tour.
Yeah.
It was like you'd feel it while you were on tour, but your body seemed to know. Wait until you got home, and then the next day you just be like...
Yeah, we always get ill on tour. It's a given,
weird,
isn't it?
Yeah. It's like an incubator of disease.
You can't escape it. As soon as one person is ill, everyone's going to
It's part of the job, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the show must go on.
The show must
People
go on.
People pay the money. You can't have the day
right.
off.
All two of them.
you still have to perform, man.
So what's your guys' philosophy on like drinking before you play versus after?
Few pints, nothing major. You shouldn't be.
What about you as a vocalist?
A
vocalist drinking and smoking.
He went through a phase of like just taking Jägermeister before going.
Well,
on stage.
the thing is, you're making me sound terrible there. What happened was
it was terrible.
It was terrible. We went on tour with a really cool band called Prestamico, which is
I like those guys.
They're great. They're really good. We went on tour with them, and I got a really bad cold the day we left and lost my voice after the first night. So it was a case of this bottle of Jägermeister can just sit in my pocket and I can just keep sipping it. So I was just constantly smashed for like 5 days.
Fucking lethal, that stuff.
It got us through it though.
It did. But now you're endorsed by Vocal Zone.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't got my little tin.
We might be having someone from Vocal Zone come on the show.
Oh, I had a tin. I could have whipped it out.
They seem to be working.
Like,
we did a practice.
Oh, I don't have my tin, so I'd been like Vocal Zone.
We did a practice last night.
I'm full of cold at the moment.
But you were drinking the Vocal Zone tea, and that seemed to help.
Yeah, what's it like?
Really tastes bad. But it didn't have kick your ass.
I was going to say, yeah. It's more about the result than the taste, isn't it?
There wasn't as much fatigue or anything like that.
No, I felt a lot better, but I've been practicing quite a lot.
But I mean, my original question was like, what do you normally do about drinking and smoking before a gig?
I stopped smoking years ago, and then I've started recently again, but I'm slowly. I'm cutting down. I had a bit of a stressy month last year.
It's usually, that's what people usually say, stress related.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad month last year. It was was it September last year? I had a pretty bad month, and I started drinking and smoking again because I didn't drink either. And I've kind of still carried on smoking, but I've been cutting down gradually. And
how have you found it in the past that affects your vocals?
I don't really know. As I say, I'm either on or off depending on the day, regardless.
I would assume that you'd always kind of been singing from when you were smoking, though, so it might just have been hand in hand all the time.
The point when I was the best at singing was when I was in my first rock band, Dead Space, and I never had any problems. I could sing for an hour, no problem, and I'd talk afterwards, and the next day sing again and sing again and sing again. And I was smoking like 20 a day then. Like I'm smoking like maybe 5 a day now.
Oh, okay.
I think age isn't helping.
What's the most amount of gigs you've done in a row?
When we toured with Our Famous Dead, we played a gig every night for 2 weeks.
Wow.
I wasn't in.
There was a point where there was 2 days off, so I reckon maybe 8 nights in a row.
Yeah. That's when your voice gets.
No, I'm okay. It really just like it depends for me on. Like I'd say 30% of the time it's great, and 70% of the time it just won't work, and it won't do what I want it to. And that's got nothing to do, I don't think, with smoking or anything. Al tries to pinpoint what it is. He's like, we will try all these things and find out what it is. And I think it's just...
Do you warm up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've done all my little techniques and things.
There is a lot of variables, like how warm is the room, how moist is the room, if it dry, is it cold? Is there?
I think I've got a pretty bad technique, to be honest with you. Have
you had any lessons or anything?
A few.
I only had a few for like the basics of like your breathing and stuff like that.
My breathing technique's pretty good, but I'll sometimes just forget to breathe. And
that's adrenaline.
You get to a point and you're like, oh shit, I should have took a breath. I've got lots of letters to say now.
Do you sometimes rearrange songs to help with that?
No.
At all.
I think a big
Some
factor
people
is
do.
as well is that we all have jobs and we all have to go to work. And
I have to shout at kids all day. My job is shouting at children who refuse to behave themselves.
It's good warm up.
Little bastard.
Your voice is always ready.
It's like, Joey, stop hitting your brother, please. He is not your punch bag. And then they don't listen, so you're like,
it can wear on your voice, though. I mean, if you're doing that for like 50 hours a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're doing that 2 weeks, did you not find I had to, if we do like a week, I try not to talk much during the day because by the time we had a van and it's so loud. You have to like raise your voice.
Yeah, just to speak over.
Not.
You've got quite a gravelly voice though, whereas I don't put grit into it.
Yours
so
is almost operatic sometimes.
Yeah.
Like an angel.
I think like a really, really
You were in a choir, weren't
dirty
you?
angel. I was in a choir.
Dirty angel.
Dirty
There's a
angel.
song in there somewhere.
A
Dirty
angel.
bum angel.
Oh, my halo's round my ankle. No, honestly, I think as well, because I don't ever really put grit in it unless sometimes I'll accidentally do it. Whereas if you're putting grit in your voice
you actually
all
sing.
the time, but that's the thing though. If you're putting grit in your voice, you're putting so much labour on it. Whereas I don't have to do that.
But for
so.
some people, it's just how their voice is.
It's really-
They're not even trying. It's just how it sounds.
It's really strange because I don't really do the really big falsetto stuff anymore. But when I did, people would be like, "Oh my god, like that," and they'd focus on that. And it's like I could literally do that all day, and it's not a problem. Just singing in a mid range for me is the one that kicks my ass. Like just singing like in your kind of chest voice up here, like that kicks my ass. Like I could go like all day, and like
it's like some people
not
can do
get tired.
that Cookie Monster vocals.
Yeah.
It's just how their voice sounds. They don't even have to try.
I think Max Cavalera is a good example of
Yeah.
that. He's always had like quite a low, gruff, gravelly, almost like a screaming voice. But that is just how he sings.
Yeah. So he's quite lucky at that.
He's
respect.
really lucky. I mean, I do get burnt out. I can do it like day after day, but I couldn't be like a front man and just do it. I would burn out.
No.
Burn out, man.
So in your previous bands, were you just a singer as well, or was just been a
singer and guitar?
Guitar. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I had a whammy
Did you always
pedal.
want to be a singer,
No.
or would you rather?
I
Have been a
think
guitar
my
player at one point?
my ego grew into it a little bit. I've got a bit of an ego. When we started like Dead Space and stuff, I was in a kind of really heavily into Jeff Buckley and Radiohead, and I wanted to be them.
Right.
Then I realised I couldn't be them because like Jeff Buckley's like one of a kind, and then Radiohead were just a little bit too kind of like intelligent maybe.
Right.
There was this sort of like certain kind of like cerebral kind of quality to them.
Yeah.
And then like Muse came along, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of like Radiohead. The first album is kind of like Radiohead but with riffs. So I'm totally going to do that. And then I kind of fixated onto them. And I was like, oh, I'll just buy a whammy pedal and just play. And that was pretty much what my first band was. Just a whammy pedal, a delay pedal, and loads of screaming. And and at the time, there was my other member in the band was a singer as well, and we both kind of share it.
Yeah.
And he had a really good voice, but wasn't really great at singing in tune.
Okay.
You know when you can tell someone would have a great voice if they could just learn to pitch?
It's the range, isn't it?
It was just the pitching. He just couldn't pitch. He was just above or below everything, and it was like, so I was like, I ended up just singing more of it. And then after that, I just got used to doing it. And then when we started Sun Explodes, I was like, oh, well, you can be the singer. I don't like listening to my own voice on record. I don't like listening to videos of myself. I honestly, like, people are like, oh, man, you are so hard on yourself. It's got nothing to do with that. I'm completely comfortable with it. I don't think I've got a particularly exceptional voice.
You are hard on yourself, though.
I'm an well, a little bit, but I think I'd rather be open and honest, because I think so many people, especially in bands, singers especially, you've got to put this air of confidence on that, like, you think you're it, and like you can't possibly falter. And I think it's okay.
Come across, like, meek and, like...
No, but the thing is, it's okay to say to people that like for me, the joy and pleasure of playing gigs and singing at gigs far outweighs my insecurities about how bad or good I sound. Yeah, exactly. I enjoy playing and I enjoy singing, I enjoy recording, I enjoy writing. Whereas like I don't necessarily think I'm a particularly great singer, and that's fine. And people say, oh, you are, and it's like really nice and kind of them. I don't think that so much, but I don't think there's any shame in saying that. If you enjoy what you're doing, it doesn't necessarily, it outweighs that kind of voice in your head. Because there's a lot of people that don't have that confidence and stuff, and people that like, oh, you can't really say that and stuff. And it's like, I'd rather just be open and honest about it.
I think,
I agree.
I think what Dave's saying is actually probably how we all feel within the band as well. If we go off stage and people are like, oh, that was really good, and it's like, well,
I think every band has
we're always
that,
a little bit shocked by any positive.
I think the thing is, though, it can come across as rude and insincere because we're really bad for it, and we will just say to people, "Oh, we were fucking terrible." And it sounds really insincere and kind of. Sometimes it's a bit kind of like.
I always feel like you shouldn't say that. You
but
should
at the same time,
say thanks.
Thank you so much.
Just leave it at that.
Yeah.
It's something you should really learn, but we never do. Like even like our like Facebook page and stuff, we're always like, "Oh man, we have an announcement. It is pure shit." Yeah, I like that, and it's a joke, but at the same time, I think that's kind of how we feel.
Because it's never not going to be weird for someone to say something like that to you, but Just accept it.
You
Just
know,
say thanks.
but you know when you've like got bands like, oh, we are going to blow your minds. You are not ready for this announcement. Like we can never do that in a band.
No,
Man,
that ain't us.
No.
You
hope
are not
they
ready.
like it, but
You are not ready for this announcement, and it's like, oh, people are so ready for this announcement because it's so underwhelming. This announcement.
I couldn't agree more though. About it. Just as long as you put 100% into it.
Oh goodness,
that's what's most important.
Yeah.
As long as you see bands like up there having a good time.
I think with us as well, the whole hiatus and gap and stuff, and the drop of energy is a lot of that's just come from the fact we haven't played. And like writing and recording is one thing, but like not playing gigs, like even after practice, like last night, was it last night?
Yeah.
Like I felt when I got home, I felt 1,000 times more into music because we just played.
I get that. Yeah.
And like when you're writing and recording, it's so much fun and creative.
Yeah, it is.
But then when you're actually playing loud with your mates, it's like proper. It proper. You know, like when you go and see a gig and the bands are sick, and you're like, oh, I want to be doing that. Like that.
Yeah,
that feeling.
Just make you feel like that, doesn't it? Yeah. So who's like your main influences music wise?
Well, as the band as a whole, I don't really know. Like personally, my favourite band of all time are the Mars Volta. I absolutely love the Mars Volta.
Yeah.
I think a big part of TSE, and I know Dave doesn't like them, but I stand by that Queen's a big part of TSE.
Queen.
Yeah. To us as having a sound and
I can see that. Yeah. It's not a bad thing, is it?
Personally, there's not a lot of bands we all listen to that is the same.
I think we've kind of ended up like because Al kind of like writes everything. It's kind of where Al's at, but Al's really weird with his music taste. He just won't like a lot.
He doesn't listen to a lot of music, like
right. It makes you wonder where his new stuff comes from. Then
I honestly I don't know.
Because you're still very prolific.
He started listening to a lot of you know what? There's a few things I can hear. Like there might be a riff that sounds like Architects.
Yeah.
There's a couple of riffs that might sound like Tesseract, but they don't at the same time. But I can tell that's where he's got the inspiration from in writing them.
Like when we did the new album and stuff, it was a conscious choice to go with a guitar sound that was almost single coily because nobody does that with genty sort of stuff. It's always thick, dark, kind of like EMG kind of sound or like a bare knuckle kind of sound. So we purposely went with like quite a bright kind of twangy sound, which at first I wasn't sold on, but then I'm like,
it works.
It kind of sets it apart a little bit and it doesn't sound
bright,
like every...
crisp and clear. And
that's the thing. So many people are doing the whole kind of drop 7 kind of like syncopated riffs that you've got.
This was 7-string guitar.
Yeah, the album was.
The album's all 7s,
Yeah, there's no 6 strings on it.
It's a weird tuning.
See, that's another thing I associate with tech metal.
7 strings.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think the first person to really do it would have been Steve Vai, I suppose.
Yeah, Steve Vai and his Universe, his big 7-string.
Right. And then obviously Dream Theater came along and they incorporated.
Well, Korn as well, man. Korn were using 7s.
Yeah, they brought the new metal thing, but they obviously just took it back to sort of like, let's play as low as possible.
Yeah.
But then again, they were. I mean, new metal looking back was pretty much just pop music.
Yeah.
Rebranded pop music.
So
I'm not criticizing it. I love new metal, but it was pop music.
How do you describe that gent then? What is that?
The gent originally came from
Meshuggah,
sound.
wasn't it?
No, it's the sound. The sound the string makes. Gent.
Right, okay.
But like Meshuggah and kind of
Meshuggah started. I think they again were struggling to. It's almost like if we got older as a band and then bands started creating a sound which was reminiscent of ours,
right?
And then a genre coming of that. That's kind of what happened maybe with Meshuggah.
It's really interesting actually because I'm quite new to kind of gent and tech and stuff, whereas you've been kind of in it since like the beginning really. When you were younger.
Who were the first tech metal bands?
Like
Meshuggah maybe,
sick.
and then you have I mean Meshuggah. Like if you look at them, they were in the 90s.
Yeah,
which is insane.
Yeah.
But then maybe Sick fell silent.
Yeah.
They were a big player.
It's
in
really funny because gent is like a proper dirty word. Like if you call any of the gent
Even in
bands,
the tech
no,
scene.
honestly, if you call any of the gent bands a gent band, like they get really offended by it.
Wow, didn't know that.
Honestly, for real, do it.
Oh man, that was some cool gent.
Honestly, they'll just
you'll get knocked.
Get him out.
No, I think it's become a bit of a dirty word, but I've got a lot of love for gent.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Like it really, it's kind of fun and cool. And
I think it's
just
become a bit of a joke.
Yeah,
it's just weird how they've spelt it as well.
Yeah,
with a silent D.
Yeah,
it's I think it's kind of become its own meme. Gent.
It has almost like what happened
parody.
was you had people kind of like jumping on, and I was one of these people as well, whereby we took it very seriously when
it's
first
proper
came
like
out.
it's quite funny actually because it's kind of like people that like really like Warhammer. So like, there's nothing wrong with liking Warhammer. There's nothing wrong. I know people that pay,
your Warhammer's 40K.
but like they'll go to gigs and then afterwards, instead of being like, oh, you kind of like inspired me to pick up guitar, you inspired me to get into music, they'll be like, what string gauge do you use? What? No, like for real though. What patches do you use? And what leads do you use? What picks do you use? And they're not bothered about the music. It's about like
the technicalities.
The technicalities of what you're doing. And
but I suppose in tech metal, that's what people are into. That's what it's about, isn't it?
But not necessarily, because some of the music's great.
Well,
like
yeah,
some of it's absolutely great.
I mean, what's hair metal? Hair metal is drinking whiskey and fucking women.
Yeah.
Oh,
ours is just.
Hey man,
what leads do you use?
But that's a technical side of it, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's just what comes with it.
But like so many of these like fans that are just at gigs like wearing.
They're almost like geeks.
Oh man, dude! Like just what gauge do you use on your low strings? It's like, I've heard people do it.
Is that a phaser?
Yeah, honestly, we played at Euroblast in Germany, and there's a band called Monuments, and John Brown, their guitarist, is kind of like renowned for being amazing, and we were like stood like chatting to him because we'd like met him before, and then we were just like, I was having a fag, and then there was this lad and he was like going on about string gauges, and I was like, I had to hold it in because we've been joking about this all day, and this lad was like, so what gauges do you use? Yeah, I use these on mine. And it's like, do you use the Ibanez Tube Screamer? Yeah, and it's like, I was like, oh my god. And you could see his eyes glaze over, but he was like, yes, and he answered all his questions. It was like, oh man.
It might sound like we're being cynical or taking a piss, but we're not. We love the scene.
Oh, absolutely. We do, but like honestly,
it's still weird if people asking you questions about stuff like that.
It's almost became a norm, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, no one asks us these questions, but like,
you must get asked some questions.
Not really. Do we?
If we do, we just direct them to
compliments.
Al likes talking about.
No, to be fair, like people will come up at the end and they'll see the big rack full of like bright lights and stuff. People will say, "Oh, how are you running your rig?" Which is kind of the same kind of thing.
He'll know.
Yeah.
I didn't even know how to turn it on for 12 months.
But it looks cool.
Yeah, it's like Starship Enterprise, man. It was good.
Yeah. But a big part of the whole thing was after the first like tech gig we played the Garage in London with a guy called.
That's a cool venue.
It was fucking cool. We played with a guy called Joseph Stalin, who is like a YouTuber.
Shout out to Shields. I love me a bit.
It was Shields, Joseph Stalin, and it was this band. And this was my first foray into tech metal. And we played it, and there was these kids playing before us, and they were like so young. And one of them was called Matthew Smith, and I can't remember the name of the band. And they basically was just like they were all on guitars, just playing like they had no vocalists, and they were just playing these really complicated rhythmical kind of like syncopated dirty riffs, and it was absolutely amazing. And I was just, these guys are children. How are they so good?
It was very scary. It's like,
and then we like played with and then Shields, who were fantastic. And they played and they were amazing. Did we play after Shields?
We did, I think.
And then we played, and I was so out of my element and just completely paranoid at how great all these people were that we like just got completely crazy. People got naked. Microphone stands went up bums. And we played, and it was crazy. And it was fun. People liked it. And then that was our first foray into it, and that was our introduction into like the tech scene. And like, I'd definitely want to mention, like, while we're talking here, there's like, you've got all these groups. You've got like UK hardcore and stuff, which are just a bunch of kids throwing shit at each other. Like UKTM is fantastic, and I would totally recommend anyone to get involved in that because it's a really nurturing community. UKTM. They've pretty much lifted us from obscure band from Carlisle. And thanks to that community and the people involved, people like Simon Garrett, who runs TechFest, and like Amanda Follett, who's Possessive Management, who we're on, people like that have lifted us up and asked for nothing in return. And we've been able to play things like Euroblast, and we've been able to play with like the likes of Aliases and all these cool bands, and been given all these cool opportunities. Paolo, Will, Adam, all those guys.
Everyone from the Monolith. We love
the Monolith. Simon, Chris, and Quiggs especially, but like you've got Will and Adam as well.
There's so many people that you know what, like, I mean,
these people that are just like giving up the time. They're a great magazine. The Monolith, by the way, are like an online magazine, and they do like alternative music, films, games, and stuff like that. And
it's really stringent, though. They really go, and you can tell they've listened to stuff. There's a couple of reviews, and I'm sure you've had them where you can just tell the person's picked it up, listened to.
They've really listened to it.
It's like homework. It's like, oh well, whatever. But these guys, like, they will take a lot of time out. Their notes are accurate. I trust their judgment. Yeah, and they're they care.
Which is really weird. You two, like, you keep mentioning things I've written down that I want to talk to you about. You just keep going down. I'm like, oh, that's another one, done. It's like, it's brilliant. I was just about people giving thanks to people who've helped you along the way. And answered it. Is there anybody else who's helped you worth a mention?
Well, we've got like Circle.
Everyone at the Brickyard. Everyone at the Brickyard's been amazing for us.
Yeah.
And like Andy and Mark.
Nick
as well. Yeah.
Nick. Yeah. Sorry, Nick. Nick's more recent.
It was there
though.
for a while.
He was. Yeah. But the Brickyard nurtured, like, especially me. They've nurtured me from being a teenager into playing in bands, and I've learned my live craft and the whole etiquette and everything from them.
Yeah. How old are you both?
I'm 27.
I'm 35.
I don't look 27.
I'm still the oldest.
I always find it funny though, because when I first started playing in bands, as mentioned, it was kind of like thrash metal. It was first, and then it went to like death metal. And I always used to.
Alex was in a band called Sawn Off Idol.
Let's not go there. It was with my brother Matt.
Is
from
there something
Hellion
that
Rising.
online?
If you go on the MySpace and type in Sawn Off Idol, you'll
Is
be able to
MySpace even still there?
Yeah, it's still there. You'll still be
Holy
able to
shitballs.
download our first EP. I was 18.
Well, that's going in the show notes.
I was 18. Matt was 17. And yeah, you can listen to that.
I'll tell you what though, like we can take the piss out of Sawn Off Idol because it was hilarious. But like Matt and like Hellion Rising, Matt's such a great vocalist.
My brother has came on 10
dude.
I was going to say, yeah, your brother is the lead singer of Hellion Rising.
I used to give him hell. I used to beat him up.
Horrible.
And I was a bastard to him, but like he's honestly came.
It's
on
made him who
tenfold.
he is today.
Yeah,
He's a great frontman.
He's
Like,
a great frontman.
Kev, our guitar player, was saying it. He saw him in a band years ago, and he didn't think much of it. But then when I saw him in Hellion Rising, I was like, whoa.
Well, I'm going to take credit for taking the piss. No, I was terrible to him, but he's really came out of shell. He's a great frontman. I love seeing him perform live
because he's moving back over.
He is. He's back in Carlisle now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's another person who loves what he does. He loves playing live.
He was our first guest on the show.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. And we're going to have him on in February because that'll be our 1 year anniversary. So we're going to have him back. So.
What was he talking about when he came back?
What a terrible brother he had.
Have a guess of one subject that might have got spoken about. Not music.
Not music. Video games, maybe?
No. You must be able to guess with him.
Wrestling?
Yes.
Thanks for whispering that to me.
Of course.
You know what? He's actually gone off wrestling a little bit.
I'm not into it. I used to be.
Since then, I've probably picked up more than he has.
Wow.
Yeah, so there might not be wrestling this
I used to
time.
watch it all the time. Like, obviously, when you're a kid, when you think it was real. And then a few years later, like the Attitude Era, I just happened to have Sky at the time.
And you were flicking through the program
like,
beyond.
It's just like a good soap opera.
That's pretty much it. It's like it's
hilarious.
It's you know what's funny though, because it is like classed as family-friendly entertainment, but when you really sort of like, you knock it back to like the bare bones, it's like, whoa.
I know. Some of the things they have to resort to get routine.
We are a strange species.
But then they went.
Strange species.
They went. Monday Night Raw went from 2 hours to 3 hours.
Yeah, it's intense. I think SmackDown's still only 2 hours.
Yeah,
but
it's too much. It's just too much.
I fell out of love with it. Like I was watching it and I kind of like I dwindled off. They had such a good end of 2016. 2017 started to go mad, and then I can't remember what event it was, but they had Shawn Michaels' Heartbreak Kid come out dressed as Colonel Sanders from KFC and try and sell and I was like, I actually wrote a shitty email to WWE about that. I was like, I'm
sure a lot of people
how
did.
dare you do that?
I've always compared WWE to like the music industry now, where like download relying on the dinosaur bands still, whereas WWE still, all the old people have to come back sometimes to keep the ticket sales going. They're not sort of ready to go to like, let's get rid of all those. This is the next top guys.
I think that actually WWE have managed to do it better in recent years.
Yeah,
they've pushed a brand which is called NXT, which is sort of like where they
nobody saw that coming.
They bring up people and get them to a good name, and then they send them off to Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, because in America they are like college football.
Yeah.
It's like as big as like normal football.
Yeah.
Was like, so they kind of like their grassroots stuff because that's where the next star's going to come
from. I
from.
suppose you could class it maybe similar to like what Bloodstock do with their Metal to the Masses. They kind of like have
the whole weekend is just upcoming bands.
Yeah.
Which like that's the way forward.
Yeah, it maybe is to get people on who deserve a chance to play on these bigger shows, because I don't think Download have quite took the same
not to that level.
No,
but they are getting there. They are putting more and more.
Yeah.
Like Colt 45 and bands that we know playing there.
And they should, because it's a really hard industry to crack music now. It's like
the need to start investing in the future, because
one day, like when they're writing all these bands down, those old bands that they've relied on, they're just not going to be there.
Because they'll be dead.
So rather than that situation be forced upon them, they should be doing it in advance.
It's really interesting because we're kind of in uncharted waters, really. already. The whole industry's completely changed.
Yeah.
The recording industry's changed, and festivals are changing. And I'm kind of excited to see how it goes. I kind of want it all to burn to the ground a little bit.
Just think for you guys, if there wasn't for the technology the way it was, you would have been forced to have to go to a studio.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe it wouldn't
It's a
work for you.
double-edged
It wouldn't
sword.
work, no.
It's a double-edged sword. It's like technology has been great, but it's also been like a complete.
Well,
fuck up
it's
for
the internet, and the internet's simultaneously the best and worst thing ever.
Yeah,
It's fantastic. And
I think another thing is for like bands that really want to kind of make it today, you have to have your finger in more than one pie. You can't just rely on music anymore.
You have to be a business, you have to be a PR company, you have
Bring
to
Me
be
the
all
Horizon
sorts.
is a good example. That obviously they have Bring Me the Horizon, but then they have a fashion label from that, which is like Horizon Supply, and then they've got Drop Dead off it, and then I think Ollie Sykes' brother's the photographer, and it's like they have their fingers in a lot of pies.
That was my whole purpose for starting this initially, was something for the band to have that would bring other people in from even outside the music industry, just to like, and then.
And as you said, you took influence from Joe Rogan.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
And he's a similar.
Yeah, he didn't plan it to end up the way it did.
But he obviously has his podcast. He does his UFC.
Yeah,
he does a lot of like. Sort of like psychedelic drug documentaries as well.
Yeah, he did Joe Rogan Questions Everything.
Yeah,
that was quite cool.
Yoga, stand-up comedy.
Yeah, all sorts.
So again,
but he does all stuff that he loves doing.
Yeah, exactly.
He puts a lot of effort into it. Like obviously, we all have jobs, but it's like you wouldn't choose to do that job, but you just do. You got to make ends meet. But if you could manage to find stuff that would pay, that stuff that you love, then it's worth taking a chance.
Well, we know a YouTuber, not Drew, Callum from Our Famous Dead, whose YouTube name I can't remember, and that's what he does for his job now. He goes to like film premieres and stuff. He does like Minecraft videos. I thought,
wow, that whole stuff's just
it's mental,
unbelievable.
He dresses up in like a unicorn hoodie and stuff. It's really strange. But I've forgotten what his YouTube name is. But he's like one of the kind of biggish ones, and like he's monetized it. He's like bought a house and he goes to like
incredible.
It's like people who do Twitch, isn't it? They play video games.
Yeah,
and have people watch
who would have thought that would have been an industry in itself?
Yeah,
watching people play.
But I mean,
Gogglebox
Gogglebox is a good example as well.
Yeah,
we're watching a TV show about people.
But like, remember, it's like The Sims.
I'll tell you what though, you get naff all for being on Gogglebox.
No money.
Yeah, you get I think you get something like 50 quid an episode.
Oh man,
I think they get things rather than money.
Yeah.
Like they'll get a new TV,
or
furniture,
free
and
dog
stuff.
food for Dave, man.
For me?
For Dave the dog, the Rottweiler.
Oh, from Ballbag's house.
I think my
the one
favourite
you
on
fancy.
Gogglebox was the gay couple.
My
favourite
couple's Giles and Mary. Giles is
yeah. She's so deadpan.
Oh, I love her.
Just like he'll say something, he's quite funny, and she'll just like
Giles, I cannot remain in this relationship if you're going to tease me. I absolutely love them. They're my favourites.
It's hilarious.
But yeah.
British TV at its best.
It is indeed.
Watching
very
people
much
watch
is.
TV.
And you know what's funny though? It's funny seeing like say people in America like just go, I don't understand this. It's all really weird. And it's like it makes sense and it works. And it's
It does.
Perfect.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you watch a lot of TV these days?
No.
I don't. I certainly don't watch any TV live.
No,
No,
never.
It's all
it's
like
all
recorded.
catch up.
For me, it's like I'll finish work. I'll go to the gym. I'll get back at like 8. I'll cook, and before I know it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah. There's not a lot of time left, is there?
There's really not.
Well, that's another advantage of technology. You
Yeah.
record stuff and watch it whenever you
Yeah,
want.
And Dave
great.
stays up all
Imagine
Dave stays
now.
up all night playing JRPGs.
Can you imagine now, though, having to like, oh, my program's on. I've got to be home.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
It's insane. It's like,
Oh, you're like ringing, Mom, can you tape the bill? Mom, tape it for us.
but you know what?
So tape over.
Someone's taped
Yeah,
over
someone's
it.
taped over it.
But you know what? There still will be times where you will go back to watch something.
I still,
Yeah.
It's unnecessary.
Oh,
I,
yeah,
I
yeah.
still refer to things as taping on stuff. Like, oh,
Oh, yeah,
you're
yeah.
recording
yeah.
that on tape. Yeah, I'm recording
Yeah.
on tape.
Do you guys still listen to vinyl?
I don't.
I've not. My brother's a big fan of vinyl.
Yeah.
I've never been.
And
a
I was
huge
like,
fan,
I see the point, but my opinion has always been that a lot of today's music has like more modern day recordings that doesn't transpose very well to vinyl recordings.
That's very true. It's like the older stuff.
Yeah, they sound amazing. Like
The thing
I
is,
think,
all of that stuff was mastered for vinyl.
Yeah, I think my brother's got like Queen 2, and I heard that on vinyl. It was amazing.
Yeah, if they've got the older stuff from back in the
Yeah.
day.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Amazing.
modern day recordings to me don't really.
You can't
flow
just
to-
like take. It's like someone's done something Pro Tools.
Yeah.
You can't just put it on a vinyl. And
I
it's
think for some bands, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Frontiera like remastered their
That's
album.
what you
You
have.
can
for
have it. Yeah, you
vinyl.
can have it like it digitally
Yeah.
remastered for vinyl. But if you just put the vinyl,
Oh,
digital
yeah,
straight
yeah.
to vinyl, it's just,
I
what's
mean,
the
I
point?
had it with a band called the Catharsis. I'd bought their debut album, Romance, on vinyl, just more of a collection thing.
Yeah.
Never listened to it, but Matt got his vinyl player out, so I put it in, and honestly, it sounded like mush, utter mush. So, but as you said, maybe if you're mixing it for vinyl, it makes sense.
I saw somebody unboxing the Metallica Master of Puppets remastered.
Yeah.
It was quite expensive, but the stuff that you got in it, like all the old demo tapes,
beautiful,
riff tapes,
beautiful, but
live shows, a booklet with all like notes and emails, like faxes and stuff.
Are they bringing out No Life Till Leather? I heard there was a rumor.
Yeah, I think they might do. Yeah. I think they're only going to remaster up until Justice.
Right.
Because there's no point in doing anything else after that. Obviously, Justice is probably the one that needs it the most.
Put some bass in the damn thing.
Yeah.
It's cool, though, because you can listen to, like, what's it, And Jason For All, which is the bass boost version on YouTube.
That is cool.
That cool.
Is that cool?
That very cool. Dave does. Do you like metal music?
No.
You like Strapping Lad, though.
Strapping Lad was my favourite band for ages.
What do you listen to? What do you like?
I listen to a lot of old school prog rock.
And Jamiroquai.
Not so much anymore. Jamiroquai's first 3 albums are brilliant.
So it's like weird that, like, is this the band that you would think you would have been in?
No. The first.
Is this your ideal band?
No. My first time. the first time I remember saying, like, to Al, like, I would not listen to this music we're making.
But you like it.
What's funny is, like, you get...
I do now. We've got to a point where, like, we're doing what I want to do. I'm slowly getting them all to do what I want.
You get the demos in from when Dave's fiddled with them, and there's, like, a lot of, like, Hammond organ on sometimes.
Remember when we weren't allowed the beige,
it was amazing.
Blue. We weren't allowed it.
No, it was the one on...
It was Ignition.
No.
It was, and there was the big, like, Hammond organ, big stabs on the keyboard.
I'm thinking of the Grand Design. That originally had
a Hammond organ on it.
That was so good. And it was like me and Dave, like, yes,
we really
leave the Hammond in. And then the other three were like, nah.
Because you have a bit more say, obviously, because you do the vocals.
Yeah. When it comes to kind of trying to, like, on We Build Mountains, the track, I had this cool, like, sitar thing, doubling the vocal. I thought it sounded amazing, but everybody else was like, it sounds like a really, really, really bad, like, Indian restaurant music. So I was like, but it sounds amazing. But, like, I always want to get, like, world instruments and stuff in there, but I know there's this fine line you're straddling where it can sound fucking terrible.
The Hammond should have made it onto the Grand Design. I'll always stand by that.
Yeah, and no one cares.
Have you ever opened up your lyrics to the rest of the band and said, what do you think? Have you got any ideas? Or?
To be fair, I lied before when I said I did all the lyrics. Al wrote all of Serpentine, which is the only one people sing along to. The only one people sing along to, and I didn't write it. And that's
not the only one.
That's pretty much the only... I think that's the only one he's wrote all the lyrics for.
They're good lyrics, though. I mean,
just because some people are a bit guarded about their...
God, no, not guarded at all. Like, it's an open book. It said the new album, the whole thing was like a concept. It was started as a concept album. It was going to have like a book with it and everything. And it was about this dude that's stuck in like a causality loop where like he's making mistakes and he just keeps making them again and again and again. And there was all these little motifs and little like nods and stuff in it. And then it got to a point where like it was just... I just don't have the skills to make that happen, so we kind of dumbed it down a little bit.
Obviously before I left, we were talking about what to do with the album. I actually really wanted a book to go with it. That's what I wanted. I know it's not really within the realms of possibility.
I think the problem was though that like I'd written myself into a corner and I was like, I've never done this before. This is maybe really hard to start with. Maybe we should, and it was difficult to do. I've never really done that kind of creative writing before, so I was like, let's just write good songs first and maybe try that in the next one. So just knowing your limits and knowing when to start.
More prog will be coming.
That's the thing as well, though. It's very, very. I'm got this like inner anarchist, and like whatever everybody else is doing, I really don't want to do. And everybody is doing concept albums with books at the minute, and I'm just not having it. And I was like, it really put me off. I'm like, I don't want to follow this trend of everybody doing this thing.
What I would quite like to do,
which is really immature, but I'm just
I have a say. I would quite like to go back to 6 strings.
We could do.
There's something that feels quite nice when we go back to playing the 6 string stuff.
Well, you've got to mix it up at some point. You can't just keep doing the same stuff.
We'll just got 9 string.
To be fair though, like this, we've done everything on 6s up until the last album. So but like Al's bought that really expensive 7-string guitar now, so you're
you
screwed.
Can do both.
You could play 6. He could play 7. That would be cool.
Not with the tuning, man.
Oh, man.
What tuning are you guys in, usually?
No idea.
Z?
Yeah. Open B7.
No, he said something last night about a G sharp.
Open G sharp. I think that's what it is.
G sharp.
That's on the 7. That's on the 7 as well. I think it's open G sharp.
I get lost.
I'm probably
no
wrong.
Clue.
I thought we were like pushing it, going half a step down. I was like, okay, if you think that sounds best.
Yeah, and he's like, how do you not even know the tuning, man? I'm like, dude, it's far from standard.
The thing is though, is that like heavy isn't about you tuning anyway. If you're going for heavy, it's not about tuning. It's about how tight you are, and it's about
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like some of the heaviest bands I've ever heard playing like Drop D, and it's just that focus and power.
There's a fine line between, because sometimes when you go, if you go a bit lower, it gets a bit muddier. You lose clarity in your riffs and stuff.
Yeah, you lose the power.
Yeah,
unless you're Black Tongue.
Well,
yeah.
It just literally destroy people with your riffs.
I'll tell you what, there's a really cool band that you should check out that you might love, which everyone should check out, called Conjurer. And they're not a tech metal band. They're very weird, kind of almost sludge metal band, but they're really tight and angular and weird, and they're just absolutely fucking amazing. And they sound like nobody really that I've heard before.
It was nice.
They were amazing.
We saw them live at Tech Fest, and what was really nice is obviously you're getting bombarded with like technical music, and these guys came in with just like really loud valve
it was really
amps.
cool because they had these huge stacks of valve amps, which you don't really get there. Everybody had like SGs and Les Pauls. Everybody,
valve amps.
Yeah, but
it's not usually associated.
No.
It's just heavy.
I mean,
really
I don't know though. Like some bands do like swear by the valve amps, like Frontier do.
I do.
But yeah. But these guys come out and they had, like I say, they were using, they're like rocking. You don't see Les Pauls and SGs and stuff.
I'm sure someone had flares as
and
well.
The guy had like, and I'm pretty sure the guy had this like sick Fender Precision or Fender Jazz bass, and I was just like, oh, this is going to be different, and they just absolutely destroyed everybody.
Yeah, they were probably one of the heaviest bands on the bill.
All right.
It was heavy, but it was like really cool and constantly evolving and really interesting, but really big and thick and meaty and horrible. And they were playing the after party, which is in like a hangar, which doesn't have the best sound, like in the back hangar. And they were just one of the best bands. And I was like, wow, these guys are amazing. So Conjurer, you should all check out Conjurer.
We'll put that in the show notes.
Is that spelled the traditional way?
Yeah.
Or has it got funny letters in it? And
no.
Stuff?
Like backward letters and upside down things.
Yeah, umlauts for fun.
Yeah.
One of my favourite things about Deluxe Nest Shop, or otherwise known,
I love it.
Otherwise known as The Sun Explodes, is actually the vocals.
That's actually how you spell The Sun Explodes. That's it.
Because a lot of tech metal is the Cookie Monster, which isn't really my thing. But so
a lot of it's singing though as well.
There's a lot of it is, but
bands like Tesseract and Monuments and Periphery have quite a lot of
I suppose Periphery, But that's why I like, cause there's many of the vocals and good guitar.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, like tech as a whole, if you want to say it's a genre, it's got so many different paths and sounds,
subgenres, and it's like metal in general.
Yeah.
One day, I don't know when it happened. One day, metal became like heavy metal, new metal, black metal, death metal, like hardcore, and it just went. It just began.
I think I'm one of the few people that I don't think labels are necessarily a bad thing. If you're calling it a ballpark label, as opposed to like you putting you right in that box and that's what you get from the box. But I think it's just like a helpful way to get you to kind of the thing you like. If you can kind of.
It is.
But it's also going to be if you stick to it too much, you're restricting yourself. But you should be able to bounce around and take things from other things. But like a lot of people are like, oh my god, labels are so bad, and it's like life would be really hard without them.
Yeah, because I suppose some fans
when you think
are like
of
they know what they like, so you've got to fit in somewhere, otherwise they'll never pay any attention.
When you think of how broad, especially like a genre like metal is, this is ridiculous. Like if you said, oh, there's this band you should check out, they are metal, like. Jesus, man, it could be.
What was that? Yeah. Post-progressive grind vegetable core.
Yeah.
It's like, where's it end?
It's like that band. What are they called? Oh, I can't remember. It'll come back to me. They're the vegetarian death metal band. I can't remember the name of them.
Are you sure you didn't dream this?
No, I'm not, because they write songs about like humanity towards animals and. Like, what if roles were reversed?
Are you sure you're not thinking of Pod with...
No, they were Christian metal, man.
Oh.
It's not Dying Fetus. Cattle Decapitation.
Are they vegetarians?
Yeah, vegetarian metal, man. It's all about, like, role reversals, like if we were, like, farmed as humans.
Forced gender reassignment isn't about vegetarianism.
I think that might be about forced gender reassignment.
It's not about
But they do write a lot of animal activist songs.
Well, I am learning all the time.
Yes.
So anyone who checked your social media would know that you're gay.
I am.
As gay as it gets.
Pretty gay.
Really Has that ever have you ever come across any like sort of homophobia or anything like that?
Well,
since you've been in bands?
In the early days, but I grew up in Carlisle and I went to Morton, so I've got pretty thick skin.
Yeah, right.
I'm pretty lucky. Like. I'm quite upfront about it. Like on social media, I'll like laugh and doss about it a lot, but like in real life, I was
gonna say on social media, like the most overtly gay man I've ever known.
Do you think it comes down to how much you choose to be offended?
Yeah, I don't get offended.
Choosing to be offended.
I mean, like, sorry if I offend anyone, but you know, I'm okay. I would still say, oh my god, how gay is that? Oh my god, he is such a bender.
It's just an expression, isn't it?
That's a Cumbrian thing, I think.
No, I don't think it is. I think it's just a general.
Is it?
Yeah,
I think it's just more general.
Like the other night when I messaged in the band group, I went, "Oi, benders, when are we practicing?"
Yeah, but that's the thing.
To me, it's just.
Are you allowed to say that because you're gay?
Yeah, no. If
it's like black people using the N-word.
Yeah,
I think that's a bit different because like the thing as well is like race is like it's a physical and cultural thing, whereas sexuality is based purely on behaviour.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't compare those two myself anyway. But at the same time, like if my pals were doing that, it's always about the intent, and you can always tell what someone's intention is. If somebody's like, but even then, it's just another weapon in an arsenal that someone's throwing at you, and I wouldn't particularly get offended by it myself. I don't get offended by it. If somebody was being really horrible, there's things that I'd much rather they be like that. I'd rather they be horrible that way than in a lot of other ways. You know,
those expressions are like things like that's gay. Like someone will put a comment that's like soppy and all lovey-dovey, and the first thing is comment
gay.
It's just like
I think as well is that like I don't think it should necessarily be encouraged, especially like in kids and stuff. But yeah, you know,
I think it's definitely kids growing up now. It's just more common.
Yeah, this is the thing though, because I work, you know, in a place with loads of kids come in, and I found over that because I've worked there 16 years. I work at a laser tag centre in Carlisle, and like it's amazing because we get like really rough lads who come and play on the bandits, like the Chavas, and like
I've seen your videos.
Yeah, just like they'll come and play on the bandits, and honest to God, like nobody. Like everybody's got a gay uncle or a gay cousin or a gay friend, so they don't care anymore. They're like, if they're using it as an insult, they're using it in a whimsical kind of silly way. Like you could use anything. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about it because I've got. There might be people that listen to this who know that we're like coming on it after it gets put up, and they might be a bit offended by me saying this as well. But I do think that you have to proportionalize it a little bit. Like somebody saying, "Ooh man, that's gay," isn't the end of the world. And it's nothing to
I think, as you said, it's all about intent.
It's all about intent.
Usually they're not referring to a person.
No, yeah.
It's a reference to something.
Word. I mean, it's still a negative kind of reinforcement thing, but at the same time, I think when you start to police like to that level what people are saying, it gets dangerous, and I don't like it.
As long as people have personal attacks against you.
Yeah. It's like, like I can stick up for myself. It's like my personal thing is I don't like the use of kind of slurs against people with learning disabilities or mental illnesses because they won't necessarily have the capacity to argue back. Whereas I can.
Defenseless.
Yeah, exactly. And like I can
take it.
I can make the whole class cry if I want to.
Yeah.
I am a horrible person, so like best shot. But no, to answer your question, like I haven't had any major problems. I've had like things that suggest people suggestively being a little bit thing about it. But I think, oh no, I'm getting into a minefield here. I think I don't have a problem if people are uncomfortable with it because that's your right to be uncomfortable with it. I don't expect. I sound like Big Gal on freaking South Park. Like I defend to the deaf your right to have. Yeah, I defend.
Thanks for asking.
I defend to the deaf the right for you to feel that way. And when everybody's saying that everybody should feel comfortable and that everybody should accept it, like if you don't want to accept it, that's totally fine by me. But just crack on with your life, and I'll crack on with mine. That's where I lie with it. Like I don't have a problem if people don't like it at all. Like because that's your right, and I don't want to tell you how to think and how to feel. No. You know what I mean? So yeah. So in bands and stuff. It's a lot better now, but I'll tell you what isn't cool. A lot the whole kind of misogyny and sexism still goes on in the scene, and that bothers me more.
Well, it's coming out in the public more now, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but I've seen it happen to friends of mine and stuff, and it's not cool. That upsets me, and like people need to talk about that.
Yeah, a lot of people like would witness something but wouldn't say anything or do anything.
You know, I'm thinking I've probably been guilty of that in the past.
I think we'll probably all have at some point.
I think I've probably been guilty of thinking, oh, they're all just having a laugh, and like maybe somebody's feeling really uncomfortable, and maybe we should do something about it.
Like not thinking about that person.
Yeah. And because you're in bands and stuff. But once again, I think that attitude's changing as well. But once again, it's a gradual thing. People want these, like a lot of the like loud people want these things to happen right away, and it's like it's not going to happen right away. But we're heading in the right direction.
But it's also people are a lot offended by everything. Or they're looking to be offended.
Oh yeah, and that shit can get in the bin.
It does get to a point, like even online, where you just say like "fuck it."
Yeah. You just gotta.
You can't say anything anymore without somebody taking a bit of a pissy.
No, you just gotta sort of be comfortable with your friends and your family, and just.
It's water off a duck's back. You've just got to get on with it, and like people say, like honestly, I see stuff and hear stuff every day that like I don't agree with or that makes me uncomfortable. But it's like it's my choice how I deal with that, and my choice is just like that. When people like it's like people complain like about TV programs, it's just turn it off or turn over and then get on with your day. I've never understood the need to take it further and stuff like that. And I think that you can apply that to every aspect of your life. I mean, obviously, if there's something really bad happening, you should step up and you should confront it. But at the same time, you've got to put it all into perspective. And
I think we all should just band together and target flat earthers,
dude. But no, to answer your question, the sexuality thing, I've always been out. I've always been
since when?
Since I came out properly when I was at school, when I was like sort of 13, 14. I've always known, and I never got picked on as such, but there was like questions and people being a bit dubious about it, and I just made the decision one day, I'm going to say it, because when I say it, they can't do out about it. So I said at school, yeah, I am, what are you going to do about it? And they took the piss out of me for like an afternoon, and then like the next day or the day
something
after, something else happened, and I was like, oh man, gay boy, and I'm like, yeah, I know, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me your dad's phone number. But that sort of thing.
How true was that back in the day?
Well, but you know what I mean? And like then they pick on somebody else who was a bit quieter, a bit shy, a bit weird, and call them gay. And it's like, because as soon as you confirm it, they've got no power over you. So that's how I dealt with it. And I've just dealt with that ever since. I've had not really any problems. Where I used to live, I used to get some problems, but that's because me and my partner lived together. But that was a totally different story and related to being in a band. But it was never anything that bad. But yeah, I think I've been very, very fortunate. I've heard horror stories like.
Yeah.
I did sometimes feel very uncomfortable playing in a lot of bills with super duper hardcore bands who were like mega masculine. The fact I use super duper there says a lot. But like, and yeah, like that's like we would always be like flamboyant and camp, and that was it in a way to kind of counter that hyper masculinity because it would make them feel really uncomfortable. But you know,
never had any issues.
Yeah, but you know what? We don't have to do that anymore because like, despite what like people on Tumblr are going to tell you, like it is changing and people are cooler.
I think so.
People are cooler and people are respectful, but at the same time, it works both ways. Like my online like banter is banter. I would never try and make you or anybody else feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like
well,
in that situation.
Your Facebook or whatever is your profile, free to do whatever you want to do. And I know, I don't know,
but
it
works. Well,
but I know you like guys with beards.
Yes, it works. Well, I'm a married man now, but yeah, it works both ways. You know, like I don't like you've got the right to feel uncomfortable if I'm being like a sleaze. That's totally cool. Like, if you then were like, oh, I don't like it, man, it might not necessarily be because I'm a man. It might just be because I'm being a sleaze. And then you should be able to say, hey, that guy's been a sleaze without everyone going, oh, you're just homophobe. You know what I mean? It works both ways.
That's true. Yeah.
So, but that's my view on it anyway. No, I haven't had that many problems. I've been very lucky because I've got a good bunch of lads. And plus, no one's going to mess with him. Have you seen him?
Yeah, he's
Jesus, man.
the muscle.
Yes.
I try. In fact, a lot of it's probably fat, but it covered up. It looks okay.
He's like, when you're going on tour, it's like, if anyone picks on you, just tell me.
No, we've never had any issues at all along those lines.
No. Have you had many, like, I was going to think, we were talking about this the other day, we've not really had any, like, trouble or fights or falling out.
We've had the odd occasional overtly drunk person
who
gets thrown out of venues, but
nothing major other than someone getting stabbed, I suppose.
Yeah,
that's great.
That was fairly.
But nothing eventful,
which is quite good because my girlfriend was saying like she not until like me she not used to go to like rock or metal gigs. She felt a bit intimidated, but she's since realised that more so she feels more safe now at a metal or a rock gig than she would have like if she went to Reading or Leeds or some sort of dance thing or
I think it's a very respectful community, and I think an example would be that when there was the whole thing with Architects when they were playing I don't want to say Australia but abroad, and he'd noticed a girl getting groped, and he called them out on stage and was like, don't fucking do that here, like don't fucking do it. And I think in this community, you will find that happens a lot. If anyone sees anything, it'll be called out.
Yeah, definitely.
So, no, it's a very welcoming community.
I think so. I've always felt like rock and metal is sort of the underdogs as well, like because it's never mainstream, never quite mainstream in terms of other genres, but which is why Like you get fans who like group together and all go to the same gigs all over the country. I love stuff like that, and they become your friends as well.
Yeah.
The same stuff.
It's really because we realise now as well, because it's such a small scene. You always somebody you know will always know somebody else that you know, and we only started seeing this when we started playing around more, and we're like, like, well, tonight, like Jimmy and stuff like that. It's like, you know, it's weird that we all like, because I know so many people know Jimmy, and it's like Jimmy lives in Leeds. How does everyone know Jimmy? And like bands that you play with and stuff, and it's really cool. But the thing is, the underground thing's what makes it so attractive. Like, it's like this weird catch-22, because you kind of want everybody to do better, but as soon as everybody gets lifted up into the mainstream, that thing that made it so special is gone.
They're no longer
not necessarily just like a band in particular, maybe like the whole scene itself, because everybody's always striving to do better.
We're no longer underground.
You know, no longer underground, but if you stay underground, like, you're just like a little mushroom growing.
It's probably the best place to be, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think being counterculture is really important. To that whole alternative thing. I'm like a proper punk at heart, and like counterculture is really important. It has to be there, and it's really important. And I worry, like I'll tell you, like I worry because because Carlisle's like a proper student town now. I'm not seeing that counterculture I used to see every year when the students came, and that's really interesting to me. I used to see all these really interesting characters, even like the art college lot and stuff, and I'm just seeing these like bland Primark clones everywhere. Yeah. And I'm like, I want this challenge in the town centre, because since it became kind of a university, a bigger university draw, you were seeing all these like cool, interesting characters, and that gives birth to great art, and it's like bands and music, and I want to see the next wave of bands come up and challenge what we're all doing, and then like push it, and, you know, make everybody work harder and keep the scene alive. And I'm not seeing that so much. I might not be looking in the right place though.
No, but I think you're gonna, well, like say festival stuff, they're gonna have to look to the underground for the next generation. There's nowhere else to look.
It's the only way to make it happen. And
like bands like Massive Wagons or Mason Hill or those bands, or Bigfoot, you know, those bands who are like starting to work their way up.
It's nice to see, I know we spoke about Bloodstock before, but it's nice to see them. Well, actually, even Download, they took a chance with Avenged Sevenfold a few years ago. Yeah. This year, I know that they have Bloodstock have Gojira headlining, and they deserve that headlining.
Yeah, they totally deserve it.
They're
absolutely,
probably the best band in the world at the moment in terms of what they do in metal. I don't think there's anyone as tight as them, and I don't think there's anyone that puts on the same passionate live performance as them. And I think they had Mastodon last year. I think Mastodon headlined last year. Again, good. They deserve their headline slot as well. So
I think the big festivals have a responsibility to say, because whoever they put, like say, this band, we're putting this band as headline, so this is the next. If they put that as a headline, then people have got to say, right, these must be the next.
It's more of I suppose the bigger it gets, the more of a marketing strategy it becomes.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Who is it this year? Ozzy, Guns N' Roses, and I can't remember the last one. It's Ozzy, Guns N' Roses, and this is Download. We're talking about Download.
Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh, they headline again?
Yeah, they're on Friday, I think.
Yeah.
Well, they deserve it.
I think they got a bit of stick for that, because people say, "Oh, Avenged Sevenfold suck. Why are you putting them on?"
But they clearly don't suck, because there's still how many albums do they sell?
It's just because they don't have, you know, they've got a big the opposite of fan club.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that hate them.
Yeah.
I'm not even an Avenged Sevenfold fan. I don't listen to Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah, I'm not either, and like I will actively be like, oh, and roll my eyes whenever they come on. But as you say, they really deserve it, and like they're good enough to do it. And once again, the internet, best and worst thing in the world, because you've just got all these people that are just like, oh, I'm over it, man. Like I was saying the other night on it as well. Like you'll see like an advert or something, and you look in the comments, and people are just tearing it apart. Bands, people are just tearing it apart, and the internet is like the worst. Some of the worst things that's happened to bands, because they just have to just piss on someone's chips.
It's like this team mentality where like, this is my team, and if that's their team, then I'm gonna piss on them.
Like I'm quite capable of disliking something.
But
without saying it's shit.
Yeah.
Like just because I don't like it.
It's not for me, but I can understand.
Yeah, and just like let them be successful and like get on with it, and like I think that's a great decision.
Yeah, because like Ozzy and Guns N' Roses, they're not going to be in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. No. Like Avenged Sevenfold, like who else? Alter Bridge.
Yeah,
I could see them doing that.
Another Bring Me the Horizon. They will headline.
Like I genuinely can't stand Bring Me the Horizon, but
Foo Fighters, another one.
I totally agree that they should be raised up because you need these people championing the cause. You know what I mean?
I remember when the first time Bring Me the Horizon, I think they played Wembley, and there was a lot of like mixed reception to them playing Wembley within the community and stuff like this. I was like, how is this a bad thing?
Yeah.
We have one of our own, as in like a metal band, playing a huge arena and a huge gig. This is only good for us in terms of like people having a gateway.
I will, however, say I'll be more happy when he stops miming.
Stop
what? Sorry.
Miming. There's so much lip syncing going
Leave
on.
it, man. I love the band.
Well, that's just part and parcel of it.
No, never.
I've seen it. I've seen it quite a bit as well.
Didn't mind Cher
Naughty
doing it.
Ollie.
To share mine?
No.
Just in general, though,
Britney does.
it's quite prevalent.
Oh, I feel like you're making out like I'm Britney's biggest fan.
You are.
What?
I'm going to spread lies and slander on this
man.
show.
There's worse people I like than Britney, man.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But yeah, I think it's only a good thing. You have
Yeah,
a young
no, I
band.
agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
if anything, it's a gateway into.
I mean, the Guns N' Roses thing this is pretty much their fight. Well, there was talk of them doing another album, but
It's marketing. Isn't it?
it is.
They'll sell tickets. They will sell
absolutely.
tickets.
Yeah.
So yeah, why not have them on as a draw? It's just I'm always more interested what they do with the lower stages. To be honest,
Yeah.
I know
yeah.
they held sixth, like their comeback on 2000. I want to say 14 or 15. They played like the lowest stage, but they headlined it on the last day,
Yeah.
and they had a great turnout for their show.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it shows that people, they still give a shit
Didn't
about
they
some underground bands.
Didn't they play the big stage last year? Because Rosser did it.
They did. They played the main stage. They were
Yeah.
one of the early
Wow.
bands.
That's pretty cool.
It's
Yeah.
cool when you see bands like work their way up,
Yeah.
and then
Or a band like Sixth, like when they came around, like no one. Well, they did do some good shows, but I think they were just too ahead of their time.
yeah,
No one got it. No one understood it, and it's still funny because sometimes people don't get it. Because I know they went out into Trivium,
yeah,
and I can imagine a lot of people who like Trivium would be like, "What is this?"
yeah.
But yeah, they
Yeah.
deserve.
But that would have
credit.
been Trivium 10 years ago.
Exactly. I mean, like they came out, and I don't know who they were touring with on theirs, but they were very much a breath of fresh air in
Yeah.
2005 when I started
Yeah.
picking them up.
Yeah, so those festivals have a responsibility to keep their finger on the pulse with all these bands who are doing these things that are getting a buzz and then putting them in front of their audience. That's the future. That's like they can't rely on these dinosaur bands for much longer.
No.
So they need to have some system in place where they already know who's next.
I think the issue is as well is its longevity. For example, Iron Maiden, they were around big on top of their game for a long time, whereas I don't think bands get that opportunity anymore.
Yeah.
I remember like Trivium and Bullet for My Valentine. They were always the bands that were going to champion this, and they were going to be doing arena tours and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But then the world moved on,
Yeah.
and they got left behind, and it's hard to, like, for a band to get enough time to really build the fan base that say Metallica did or Iron Maiden did.
Yeah.
But that's the
Yeah.
thing. The whole industry's changed now. Like,
Yeah.
You're not really going to get that. That's not going to happen
It's
anymore.
not going to
like
happen.
that,
You're
is
not going to get these huge bands anymore, and that's why I'm quite interested to see what's going to happen, because this could like spell the end of big festivals. You know what I mean?
It
yeah,
could do.
like arena
Well,
tours,
yeah.
stadium tours.
Yeah.
Will we ever see that?
Yeah.
But I think it's a case as well is either develop or die. Like
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
the internet is here to stay.
I meant for
and,
band
like,
sounds as well and how they
Yeah.
like. I mean, I personally think if Iron Maiden came around now, they wouldn't make it because they had a sound and they stuck with that sound. And
Yeah.
I just think people would have got bored with it in the modern day.
The thing
Yeah.
is though, is that like you're forgetting that like, especially with rock and metal, so much stuff that the potential, the stuff that you can do that can be done. So much ground's been covered since then.
Yeah.
That, like there's not really that much more radical stuff you can do with rock and metal.
I think it.
You know what I mean?
There's always stuff that comes.
But
like,
when you
don't
think
suck,
about
you
it,
don't
like
expect it.
like Loathe at the moment, everyone's banging on about Loathe, and I've got this like fresh, amazing new sound, and I love Loathe, and I think they're great. But you know what? Like it's great, but there's nothing there I haven't like heard before.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Like, so much has gone before.
Exactly, yeah. Which is
How's,
why
how's every chord progression been done? How's every riff been written?
I think it's like. I mean, I don't think anyone expected, say, new metal to come along though.
No, well,
Like bands
we've
like
talked about this
Korn,
before on the
yeah,
show
it's
as
like-
well. Like, other than like Gent, what is the last big genre that's come? Was it new metal in the early 2000s?
Maybe
That, like,
maybe
was, like,
metalcore,
worldwide?
maybe metalcores and like.
That's a bit
Trivium.
more niche, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but okay, new metal was probably the
So,
one verging on pop music.
You're talking
anyway.
15 years ago,
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
the last sort of big shift.
But then
Before
what?
that
But then
was,
what
like,
was the? What was
grunge
the?
or-
Yeah. So, but when
I think-
thrash metal was a
I
decade
think
before,
I
so-
think we're going back to kind of like 80s indie now again. I think that's where kind of like guitar music's going.
we had a revival with that though, with like Block Party and Franz Ferdinand.
Yeah, that was like 90s, man, and like
Nah.
well, Block Party was 90s.
Nah.
Franz Ferdinand was.
Nah. I was going to clubs when like that stuff was being played.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure it's like early noughties.
I was at school and maybe early noughties. I was still at school then though. But
it was early noughties, but
Block Party, like Franz Ferdinand was like noughties and stuff. But I reckon we're probably gonna head back there before something new, big.
Yeah.
I
think you're right though. It's hard for anyone to do anything groundbreaking or new these days that hasn't been done before.
But as Dave said, like there's not a lot of counterculture within youth.
No. Yeah.
So do they really care about like metal and rock music, or do they want mumble rap?
I don't think people in general
flash cars.
Grime though, grime man.
I love grime. Grime's still underground though. Grime hits just as hard as metal. It's again that is a counterculture.
Stormzy's so underground. Man.
I don't think.
Oh, not that guy.
I don't think maybe people, especially younger people, value music in general as much as like we maybe did when we were growing up. Yeah. It's become a sort of a background thing, or it's not like a.
Oh no, I agree. I used to go out, buy an album, sit cross-legged on my floor with my headphones on, and listen to it.
Yeah. Like, as of many people,
you know what? And you know what? I don't do that anymore.
No.
I am distracted by the world.
Exactly.
And to me, it's not.
Feel sad about
that. I'll tell you who I did listen to properly. Alex is a huge fan of a band / artist called Sleep Token, who is this like mystery guy.
I got them tattooed on my finger.
Yeah,
you probably can't
and
see,
it's very, very cool.
There we are.
Cool.
And it's very, very cool. There's kind of a bit of a strong gimmick there, which I'm not that sold on, where nobody knows who the guy is, and it's like a big mystery, and he wears like a robe and a mask and stuff. Yeah. And the music's really cool, though. It's really different, and it's kind of ambient, and it's got like kind of like this ethnic soundscapes to it, and every song kind of builds to a point, and then it just crushes you with this huge wall of like guitar sound. It's pretty incredible, and the vocalist is like amazing. Like that.
It's artistic.
But
it
is artistic, and it's cool because they're kind of packaging it in a unique and different way. And like you can send him wishes and stuff. It's really strange.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not really a huge fan of the gimmicks and stuff, but like it's cool.
I was always a fan of like say Slipknot and the mystery behind of who a person is, what a person is, and stuff. So it appeals.
Kiss
to me.
Would have been the first ones for that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, probably. Good
like, old Kiss.
Yeah, but Sleep Token. Please check Sleep Token out because I think they're onto something.
I love Sleep Token.
But with the way
I do love Sleep Token.
With the way technology's going, and people just be like just record albums in their bedroom, and that'll just be the way it's done. But I feel lucky now that I've been to a professional studio like 3 times and had that red light and had a producer and like was pushing you.
We would
like
crumble.
Pressure. I feel really lucky that I've done that. The only thing we've never had was the CD in a shop.
Oh yeah,
I don't think we
haven't had that.
No,
we almost did it a couple of years ago, but
HMV were doing it.
You can do deals with them.
We had it played in HMV.
All right, yeah.
We took it in. They did play it on a cycle at one point with a bunch of other local bands. But
cool.
That's about as good as it. We got played on Kerrang.
Did we?
Kerrang Radio.
With Johnny Doom.
With Johnny Doom.
Yeah, Johnny Doom. Yeah,
Johnny Doom.
Yeah,
but just the whole going into an amp, into a microphone, direct recording and stuff like that. It's just like.
Oh no, I have done that. I did that with Son of Idol. So have a listen to that and see how well that came out with me.
Just because when you see all your favourite bands and you see that in the studio and they were doing
I love the Foo Fighters documentary.
Oh, Back and Forth.
Yeah,
that's one of the best ones I've seen.
I'm not even a huge Foo Fighters fan, but the documentary is really good.
There's a really cool band called Novena, who we know, and they're like a super prog band. It's all like mystical and stuff, and they've just gone into a studio and they basically did that thing where they went to this cool studio which was full of analog kind of gear and just awesome space, and it looked amazing, and like they basically just lived there for 5 days.
Right.
And like I have always wanted to do that, like just go to a studio, you've got like a little bunk bed or something, and then you get up in the morning and you start. I'd love to do that, but I have been in a studio before and I've recorded in a studio, and like I just crumbled under the pressure and we never even got the vocal takes.
I think I hear stories about when System of a Down recorded Toxicity at Rick Rubin's house, and there's so much music going on around you that has been recorded in other rooms, and I've heard stories about it being recorded like in a tent in his living room, like some of the songs, but I think you need to be there to kind of like get used to the mood and the atmosphere. Yeah. So, but I think gone are the days of recording albums over months.
It's just not efficient.
It's not, and it costs.
Especially not indie bands.
No.
Yeah,
you just can't. Time is money.
I love the idea of that. I love the idea of like Black Sabbath going to a castle and recording, I don't know, Black Sabbath 4.
Yeah, they used to they'll just like deck out like the dungeon. They'll just put blankets up or foam walls
and
up.
you're able to immerse yourself in an atmosphere and stuff. That's cool.
Well, like speaking of the weird evolution of bands and stuff. There's a band we know called Slice the Cake. Very unusual name. But like their guitarist was in Australia. The drummer or something was, I think it was a drummer. The guitarists were in Australia. One of them was in Scotland and one of them was in Brighton. And they'd written like these albums and released albums and never like even met in real life. And then they got together in the UK and played the first ever gig and they never even met each other before. It's absolutely crazy.
That's becoming that's the
but
future, isn't it?
It blows my mind. Really,
writing an album from other side of the world.
I mean, it's cool, but at the same time, like you like it's just different. And
yeah, I was gonna say about the studio is like that's probably the most in my life that I've ever had to focus on something.
Yeah.
Like the most amount of like effort and focus I've had to put on one thing in one time. That's like there's so much riding on it.
Yeah,
It's just like all the money you've spent, the time you've only got a certain amount to do it. There's other people there watching.
What was your my favourite one was that lyric, the one we did for the lyric video where it was all black and red. And it had the
Council of War.
Yeah.
That was my favourite one.
That's our sponsor, Very Metal Art, Andy Pilkington.
Ooh.
He is good.
Yeah,
it was very good.
Yeah, I love that one. And
he's another one where he's very creative, where I'll tell him my rough idea, this is what I'm thinking, and then I won't hear for like a day. Then he'll go, there you go, what do you think of that? Like, perfect.
Our moment with that was in reference to that was probably when we shot with Video Inc. And we probably weren't expecting a lot of it. I mean, we'd seen their work, but we always, again, going back to us, like, oh, it'll be shit because it's us. And we got the...
Self-deprecating.
Yeah. Do you remember we got the picture through? Just like a still shot, like an hour after we performed. Like, holy shit, that looks amazing. Got the, like, the unfinished version through and was like, this is actually like a proper music video.
I looked so fat in that video, though.
Hog body.
I looked hog body in that video.
But that's the other thing, is like videoing must be expensive, is it?
Yeah.
That's like
I think it was very reasonable for what we got.
No, but I mean, like definitely, like because like that, like now they're it's like Sean as well. They're doing like they've just scaled up now and they're doing huge productions for huge artists. When we were doing with them, they've kind of been on the go for a while. But it was reasonable for what we were getting because that 731 video we got like that amazing building site and we were allowed to set fire to stuff. That was amazing.
Yeah,
we had to leave before the fire brigade got called. I think they did get called. Actually, it was a big fire. Jamie there pouring petrol on it while smoking a cigarette.
And we had prostitutes. We had prostitutes there and everything.
What are you doing?
What are you doing, lads? And we're like, not you. But yeah, that was so sick.
It's expensive, isn't it? Just generally.
That's why we've started just doing it ourselves. We're like, we can't justify spending this chunk of money on
that like
cool video.
Crossing that threshold of like every time you go on tour, you make money.
Yeah.
That's like your goal.
Yeah.
That's pretty much your only goal, isn't it?
If you can break even, you've had a good
tour.
Well,
exactly.
It's weird how we've changed as well because Al and me, our mantra was like, oh, it's quite a lot to spend on a video. And we're like, you know what? It's just money. These are like memories. This is like what we want to do.
Like
we want to leave
tools
a plan.
videos, aren't they?
Yeah, but we're like we want to have something to look back on that we're really proud of.
That as
Let's fucking just throw money at it. So we did, and we did that for quite a long time. And then after a while, we were like, we can't afford to throw money anymore.
No, with age comes added
Yeah.
responsibilities.
So
As I
now-
said, obviously you're married, Jamie's married, Mike's got a baby.
I'm still just like throwing money at stuff though.
Well, that's the
Oh, I
thing,
know
though.
that,
But
I
like
know
the
that.
longer you're
Yeah.
doing it, those things come into it. For various
Yeah.
members of the band.
Yeah, you've got to.
And it's a fine line. It's a balance, isn't it? So sometimes taking a hiatus, taking a break, it's what you need. Otherwise, it could end badly if you keep pushing it when there's too much going on.
Yeah,
So
this is true.
for the sake of the band,
Yeah, I mean, you can't live off being a band now. I don't think. Even being like quite a high up band, I don't think.
I think you'd be surprised how many like medium-sized band the members still have jobs, even just part-time.
Oh
jobs.
yeah, I mean,
you see them doing all these massive
Yeah,
shows. Then the next day he's like, got to go to work.
It's like Marc and Producer, wasn't it? They played in Milan with Muse, and then they went back a week later and went to work.
Adam was doing temp office work. Yeah.
What the fuck? You play in Milan at the Olympic Stadium, then you went to do temp office work the week
That's
after.
the reality of today. That's it. Which is the difference between the bands who, like from years ago, who got famous in a way that doesn't exist anymore, versus bands who come up using the internet. That's how they got.
I tell you what,
noticed.
it was good of Muse to do that though. They do have a knack for taking out bands.
That's important. Like those are bigger bands. They've got like
It's a
festivals.
responsibility.
That's really sort
Rather
of,
than just leaving that decision up to somebody else,
Yeah.
they take it to heart and say, right, we want to handpick.
yeah,
these
because
bands.
I mean, like Marc and Roots are amazing, absolutely astounding band. But in terms of marketing, they could have took out anyone really. And it's done
well, a lot of bands get bands to pay.
Yeah,
Privilege.
that's
That's prevalent as well.
So yeah, that would be nice to see if we saw more of it with bigger bands just taking a chance on younger, obviously.
Because as time goes on, bands who came like around when we've started will get to that point and will remember what it was like back then. We ain't getting, but they ain't paying. If anything, we'll give them some money. Because they need it. Because we know they need it.
I think there's a band like that called Fit for an Autopsy, and they took a band
There's
out.
some cracking band names these days, I must say.
You know what? Actually, check out Fit for an Autopsy's album that came out this year, The Great Collapse. It is an astounding album. In terms of a metal album, it's astounding. Definitely worth a listen. But they took out From Sorrow to Serenity, and going off their interviews, they were very good to that band.
Yeah.
A lot more so than potentially some other bands would be. So, yeah, even if you're at that level where you can do a tour in another country, why not take out a younger band or one that isn't as notorious as you? So, yeah, it would be nice to see a lot more of.
Yeah, definitely.
So, have you got plans for your next release?
No.
There's some stuff. There's
we've floated some ideas, but I haven't done anything with them yet. We just really want to get back to gigging form.
So you haven't done any touring for this last release, then, have you?
No, I've done nothing.
So that's
we weren't
pretty
even going to push it. We haven't PR'd it.
Have you got physical CDs?
Nope.
The thing is, as I mentioned, the band was potentially on death's door, as in like it was just going to defunct.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a few months after it is when I kind of went, hey, I'd like to be back in. They went away and talked about it, but it's almost like that golden hour of just after the albums came out has been missed a little bit.
It has, but you've got a decent fan base who would want you to go out and play
and
it.
we could still fall back on the album and go, hey, potentially listen.
Because if you're going to do nothing else next year, you could promote that album.
I want to start playing again because I've just missed playing.
Would you get some CDs done then?
No.
Okay.
I think for us that we've never had a great experience in selling CDs.
We don't sell.
What about T-shirts?
Again,
you're wearing one. I saw it before. Hey! Yeah,
you know what? If we do go down the route, we'll probably go down the route of doing designs like that. Maybe
I love
a little
this T-shirt.
bit.
I wear it all the time.
Yeah.
Because I love the band.
Oh,
the T-shirt.
Yeah,
that's a good thing to think about. Is like not just because of your band, but have a cool design.
That's pretty much
might see it randomly. Go, I like that.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is, but I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of like just being aware of what is in, as it were.
Yeah.
And just going along with that.
Because if you're touring, you need to do something to try and
money.
make a bit of money. You've got to, haven't you?
in the tank. Yeah.
You've got to spend a bit to make something.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got a good guy who does our T-shirts called Ryan, and he runs hands-on printing. So if any bands are out there that needs,
my God, Alex is dropping all these names, man.
Well, they're all going in the show notes. There'll be a link to them all in the show notes.
No, hands-on printing is great.
I think we've used them for a very long time now.
The quality is amazing. To be fair, we're cheapskates, so we're all like one colour. But he does like all these like amazing foil ones and multicolour rainbow ones and stuff. He's very good.
When was your last show?
It was Bootleggers in Kendal, and it was with 13 Stars.
Oh, love those guys.
Yeah, they were great.
When was that?
Oh, two and a half years ago.
No way! It wasn't that long ago, was it?
It was.
I thought it was not 2016.
I'm not
Did you
gonna-
have a gig in 2016?
I've got my phone on. I'm going to find out.
No, we didn't play in 2016. It was 2015 the last time we performed.
You just carry on talking.
I did not know that. I thought it was like a
No,
year
it was a
ago
while
tops.
It's funny with 13 Stars though, because they're like, "Hey, everyone buy some T-shirts because we haven't got any money." I'm like, "Dude, like, how did you get all those really expensive guitars then? If you got no money?"
That's probably why.
Yeah, but no, I actually really like the sound.
Yeah, classic like southern rock.
That's
It's
like,
that whole kind of Americana thing.
It's very
They've
sort
got
of
it
like
down.
hearts on the sleeves.
But they're really good. They are really good.
They've got I was like just like creaming over all of the gear. The gear's so good. All of it is amazing.
They're just a good band overall. They've got that southern rock thing nailed.
Yeah,
and they write good songs.
That's it.
And they're absolutely lovely horse.
They are top guys. They're sort of like they're older. They seem older than they are.
Yeah,
they've got that kind of older, wiser.
Is that what they do for a living then? Is that?
I don't think so.
No.
But see, they give off that image though.
They do. And they're always touring as well.
Yeah, well,
I can't figure it out when it
was. I think it was 2015. I think it was about April time.
Because
it was later than that.
13 Stars are with RPM management as well, so they're good at getting bands opportunities with bigger bands. I see they always put them on the right tours. Like the Europe earlier this year, I think.
It was late 2015 because it was snowy.
Yes, it was. I mean,
So it's 2 years ago
I
then.
nearly died coming back from Shap. Yeah,
2 years.
yeah. And then everything kind of like I don't know why, but it kind of ground down a little bit with the new album and stuff.
Yeah, we just ran out of a few.
So did you intentionally say, right, we might as well just take a break then? Or did you just leave
No,
it?
I left.
Right, okay, right.
I left. And there was a lot of stuff going on, and I made the decision to kind of like push a lot of things and just kind of like do a bit of a reset. My intention was never particularly as bad as it sounds to go back to music.
Right.
I don't think I was bitter towards music, but like I'd always been sold the dream, and
jaded,
you know, like what, yeah, and you know, like what
You learnt the hard way.
That's it, yeah. And the
Yeah.
reality of music is it's a lot harder than it's. You know what? It's very easy to pick up a copy of Metal Hammer and look at Ozzy like, "Give it your all, man, and you'll make it," because chances are you might not.
It's not like it wasn't his day though.
No, that's true.
You would never get like 16, 17-year-olds who just finished school, save up some money and just go to London.
No. And but
last 5
I
minutes.
fell for it hook, line, and sinker back when I was like 18, 19. I
Yeah.
fell for it.
I hope that's what's changing these days.
Yeah.
People would not get in it for any stupid delusions of grandeur about
No.
what you can achieve, and like you need to know how hard it is.
Yeah, it's really fucking
brutal.
hard, but-
It is brutal, which is why you need a good group of lads, or lasses, or both, because you have the banter to keep it fun. Especially like the hard stuff is like the traveling and stuff.
It just absolutely kicks your ass.
We always used to say that any money we get is for the traveling.
Yeah.
We do the gig for free.
Yeah,
You got to pay us to get there.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the most crazy gig we played was in London at the Tech Fest all day, where we drove 8 hours to get there. Literally got there, sound checked, played, and then drove all
Oh,
all the way back.
God.
No, the worst one was Norwich, coming back from Norwich.
I slept it, man. I don't.
We can beat that, but only because of financial reasons. We drove in 2 days. We drove all the way to Belgium for one gig, then drove all the way back. But this is the thing about how different it is out there. They made it worth our while.
Oh, yeah.
Food, accommodation, money,
Yeah.
and we always know that whenever we're there, we sell loads of merch.
It was a very similar.
It's just
thing
like we would never have done
Euroblast.
that usually, but
Yeah, we played Euroblast in Germany, and it was the same thing. We drove all the way there, and you attract like proper lovely, and the fridges of beers and
it's
hot
incredible.
food, a really lovely area for you to sit in, and then we got a night in the
It
hostel,
was accommodation,
and then it was lovely and warm and cozy.
That's pretty much what it was
Yeah,
for us.
and then obviously the big long drive back, but we felt good after that. It was like refreshed,
we've been treated like a band.
mad.
But it's interesting going to another country where no one's got any expectations
Yeah,
or preconceived notions about what you can and can't do or what you will and
Yeah.
won't be like. They just appreciate you for what you do.
Yes, that tends to be the thing in Europe,
It's really
doesn't it?
it's really weird, the scene in Europe, because they actually seem to like give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially even like on a lower level of stuff. It's like they almost like haven't caught.
I think
onto
it's-
the-
That's how it used to be here, though.
I think it's
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I think it's because of the culture more than anything else. The
Like
culture's
people would
just-
go to a local venue because potentially see a new big band
Yeah,
before they
yeah.
get famous. Whereas now most people only go and see a band when they're being famous.
or if they're on X Factor,
That's
Well,
what
there
we
is
should
that,
do.
yeah.
We should go on the X Factor. Have you been told that before, Dave?
like several times.
Yeah, those people who don't really. It's like, have you been on X
Like
Factor or Britain's Got
my
Talent?
grandparents always said,
Yeah.
you should get your cell on that Britain's Got Talent. I was like,
we
they
were
would
we were
hate
saying
us.
it's really funny when you've like got like your album or something, and like my auntie was like, "Ooh, have you got your album?" And then she'll look at the album and open it. Oh, it's just like a real album. And God's sake.
Yeah, and you get
No idea.
Yeah.
you get it when you show people like your music video. Oh, you're like a real band.
Or when like you tell you know, like you never really want to talk about it with people, and people are
No.
like, "Oh, like my parents insist on telling people." So like,
Yeah.
I'll or my boss at work, and then they'll be like, "Oh, you're in a band," and you're like, "Yeah," and they'll be like, "Oh, so do you write your own songs?" And it's like, "Oh my god,
No, we do 50s jazz.
yeah, we do what are you called?" And then we tell them, and I'm just really glad we're not called like Aborted Anal Baby or something like that, because like imagine having to tell people you're called.
I know.
The best name I heard for a band recently was it Sodomized Cadaver. It's grim.
It's
but
like
great.
the behind the music for Megadeth when Dave Ellison, when they first got signed, he had to ring his like grandmother. He's like, "So what's the band called?" It's like, Megadeth.
yeah.
That's genius.
There's one way to soften the blow to poor old grandma.
Well, that's it. So, what's your social media links? Do you know how to find you on
We're,
Facebook?
We've got a landing page which is www.thesunexplodes.com, and that takes you everywhere. So that takes you.
Full. I like that. It's got the original full name.
It takes you to the YouTube. It takes you to the Facebook. It takes you to the Twitter.
I think when they chose the name though, they deliberately chose it because nothing else was called The Sun Explodes.
Well, that's a big
thing. Oh no! Do you want
to
hear like the big, huge like confession?
Yeah, go on. Confess.
I thought of the name. And
I forgot to ask, where did it come from?
One of the names was Al suggested Minor Third, and nearly died. I was like, we are not being called that.
What
So I was like,
Dave Mack and the
Davey Mack and the Straight Boys.
Yeah, it's the best of Davey Mack and the Straight Boys.
This is the thing, you know, some bands do like cover gigs on the side. So like, that's your name if you do cover gigs.
We really considered it for a while just for the irony, but we were like, all right, Sun Explodes, and then. And I thought it was great. And then, like, a year down the line, we were out having curry with Howlett from the Brickyard.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, so did you get your name from the Moon Explodes? And I was like, you were there? And he was like, the Moon Explodes to play the Brickyard. And I was like, fuck, have I just stolen a band's name? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, and then I realised that there'd been a poster in the Brickyard office. And I'd seen
Subconscious.
It was like, I'm not even lying, it was legit like cryptomnesia. It was like proper me stealing it, like subconsciously. And I must have seen that poster 1,000 times and it just never clicked. And he's like, they only played one gig, David.
Yeah, whoever those guys are, fuck those guys. But yeah, if you...
Where are those guys?
I'm pretty sure if you Google The Sun Explodes or you type it into YouTube, Instagram...
That's good.
Facebook,
if you Google The Sun Explodes, you get that band that wrote a song called When the Sun Explodes. And it's like the video's like a cartoon characters.
Okay, so don't Google us, but
I'm sure you'll be somewhere on that first page though, surely.
Like
on Google,
probably the bottom.
Yeah, but if any social media, if you just type in The Sun Explodes, I'm sure we'll crop up somewhere near the top.
Cool. Yeah, especially if you type in The Sun Explodes band. Not that I Google myself or anything. totally Google myself.
No. Well, it's been awesome to talk to you.
Oh, thank you so much for having us.
Seriously,
it's absolutely flown by. How long are we going, Tek?
Over 2 hours.
Oh wow!
Boom.
Were we the longest ones you've had?
I don't know what the longest one we had. No,
2.5, 2 hours 3/4, pushing maybe.
Oh,
the longest
we
ones.
did better than we expected. We were worried in case we just have nothing to say.
Did we say a lot
I knew
there?
you wouldn't have nothing to say.
Did we not just like ramble there a little bit?
No.
How much editing do you
All
do?
killer, no filter. None.
You don't... Oh my God, there's so much rambling.
Not unless someone says something ridiculous or we have technical difficulties. No, just put it out.
Just roll it.
Like if someone says cunty cunt. I said the word that you were meant to say.
I'll edit that out.
I'm going to do it now. Cunt.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thanks for coming down. I really
No,
appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
We'll do it again sometime when you've got a release or something. We'll have you back. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.
Bye.